Will you please stand and rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance? Come to Father as I come tonight. Lord, I thank you for blessing us today. Lord, I thank you for waking us up and helping us to be here and there with no problems. Lord, watch over us as we come to this meeting. Lord, the ones that need to be here, keep us in the palm of your hand. And Lord, as we are come to this meeting, Lord, please open our minds and our hearts and let us make good decisions. As I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman McCall.
Present.
Councilman Robert Gamsby.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nicole Williams.
Here.
And Mayor Brown is here. Any additional deletion or amendment to the, agenda?
I do. I would like to ask that we review that invoice from the sheriff's office, please, for, the chemo day. And, I'd like to discuss 119 requests and my email, please.
Oh, this is great, man, hold up.
Let's see now, on your, can you do those as part of your comments, I mean, as your report?
I can do anything I want, I believe.
Huh? I mean,
He's asking a question,
it can't-
I gave you an answer.
not like that.
What,
We're
I-
Business.
This is business.
why didn't you hear your answer?
Yes, I can do this.
During your comment section?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, I don't think any of them require
The
action.
invoice does.
But they can be discussed as part of your
part
report.
of your report.
Can we do a vote on part of my report or no?
You what?
Can we do a vote as part, I think it needs to be one of the line items.
What? Because you talk about he has not requested payment for the invoice.
But it's called an invoice, and doesn't that, an invoice mean that he requests a payment? That's why I wanted to discuss it.
We have not talked to him about that yet.
He was just showing us what it costs for the different functions with the, and how much it costs him for the different officers.
That's all, he just
That's all he
shows
is.
how much he spent extra for that function. And he's not asked for payment. And we
I
will
thought
have
that's what
another.
an invoice was, asking for payment.
No, no.
Why didn't you just call it information thing instead of an invoice?
Or an estimate. It should have been called an estimate.
It is an invoice, that's what they give us, an invoice, and that's what we have to go by.
Okay.
That's what they call it, it's not an estimate, it's an invoice. Cause he have all the figures added up, and we just looked at it, and he showed us how much it was gonna cost. We don't have to pay him.
Okay?
Anybody have anything to add?
Let's get somebody here. Let's do it to the church.
Okay.
Dr. McCall asked a question as you
Okay.
walked in.
Okay.
Repeat your question again.
Which one? Which question?
Your question you asked about the agenda. What needs to be on the agenda, what needs, you had three things you talked about.
I wanted to, bring up 119 requests. I wanted to ask for clarification on the invoice and why we're not paying it. And I wanted to ask why 7 months in, I haven't got an email yet.
An email address? At 119, we could certainly add that. I think that would, yeah.
You say you don't have an email address?
I'm still using the one from when I ran for office, and I've requested it a number of times, and it hasn't been provided.
So you have not, cause I got mine.
Everybody got one.
Before we get in, can we have the city clerk explain what she's done to, or what we've done for emails for everybody? She's here.
Sure.
Don Shay, would you come to address what the email situation is?
Hi, John. Good evening. My name is Ms. Brown, and I'm the city clerk for Town of White Springs. Everyone was provided an email address. You were provided an email address multiple times, and I've contacted you regarding your email address. Everyone sitting before you has one, and so do you.
When did you contact me?
Several times, Cheryl. They've had their emails active for months now.
Because I have asked Mr. Garner several times, and he just says,
Several
I'll ask
times.
Don Shay.
Several times I spoke to you about your email address.
How do I get in there? I don't know what
You
it
want me to
is.
explain it right here, or would you like to meet again about it? Or would you like to come to my office about it?
Would you send me a text message or an
Ma'am,
email?
you can come here tomorrow, and we can work it out.
Get signed on, yeah, thank you, that's what you do. Cause I know you've had email signed since, just about since I've been here. I mean, well, you hadn't used it, but, okay.
Other council members have email, I know I've seen the email addresses
Mhm.
being used.
I use mine all the time.
Yeah.
My old one, my new ones.
Do you have a
Email.
laptop?
So,
You might wanna just bring a laptop in, sit down with her, cause you're probably gonna, like, I have to do it through Outlook, so I need an email client. You might have to just, like, have a little tech support. So bring the laptop, sit down with Don Shay, she'll set it up for you.
Okay, thank you.
now, but
119, and then the invoice.
the email that you got that had all the,
Okay, yeah, I think.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
added
that-
G
that
for
covers-
119.
that's part of 119, I think.
That's what you just said.
Oh, you
Yes.
gonna add
I
that?
think that could go under 119.
So,
So G?
so G would be the 119
G would
request.
be 119 request. okay.
Mhm.
Okay, what else?
We do need to add about declaring the seat forfeited.
Well, can that be done as part of the
A? Yes.
forfeiture and then set a procedure for?
You can see any devices. I can't see nothing up or far. So yeah, that'll work there. Fund agreement. And, maybe under D, I wanna talk about the application, the new application, for street closures, just as a success part of that.
Okay.
Got it, okay.
Okay, what else?
I think if you want clarification about the invoice, what we could do is, maybe have the sheriff's office provide us something in writing.
Okay, Nikki, you, talk with, Chef Preacher about that?
Mr. Will, I'll get a memo or something back from him. Cause we will meet again to discuss, after we had a meeting tonight, to discuss about the block parties and
Okay,
closing streets and so forth.
okay. Okay, anything else need to be added to the agenda? Okay, if not, can I get a motion?
I move to add item G, 119 requests to the agenda under item 6.
I second the motion.
Okay, it has been motion that we, accept, G 119 request, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried, ayes have it, 4-0. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approving the minutes of December the 9th, 2025, and January the 5th, 2026.
I move to approve the minutes of December 9th, 2025 and January 5th, 2026.
I second the motion.
Okay, it has been motioned and seconded that we approve the minutes from December the 9th, 2025, and January the 5th, 2026. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried, ayes have it, 4-0. Okay, Mr. Powell.
Okay, so everyone on the council has a financial report, it's a 4-page report. And so, this report is for the 3 months ended December, so it's current. So on page 1, and the columns are the actual revenue or expenditures, the pro rata budget, the over-under budget, and percent of budget. So the general fund, if you look at the bottom, the total revenue is $233,326. The pro rata budget is $200,671. So at this stage, you're ahead by $32,654. I reviewed that, and that's mainly you collect your ad valorem revenue kind of, it's front loaded, so the reason looks like it's because of the collection of ad valorem revenue. Okay, on page 2 and 3, if you go to page 3, the expenditures for the budget are $314,647. The pro rata budget is $172,366. So you're over on expenditures by $141,679. In reviewing that, it's almost exclusively because of some grant expenditures. You paid the various vendors for grants, but you haven't received the revenue yet. So when you receive that revenue, that should straighten that out. We go to page 4. Is the enterprise fund. Okay, so about the middle of the page, it says total income, $197,456. The pro rata budget is $159,750. So you're positive here by $37,706. The main reason is that you get a grant from the county every year of $45,000, and you collected that, and so it makes the revenue a little bit ahead of budget. But otherwise, the revenue seems to be coming in correctly. On page 5. The total expenses, $204,714. The pro rata budget is $163,801. I've reviewed that, and again, it seems like that's some front-loaded grant expenses and engineering that you haven't collected the associated grant revenue with. So again, when the grant revenues come in, it will assist your finances. You're kind of, I guess you could say right now you're grant poor because you haven't got the money in yet, but the money is coming at some point. So any questions? Yes, Ms. McCall?
What document would show these front-loaded grant things?
The grant expenses would be invoices paid to various grant vendors.
And is that a document? Is there a
There's
thingy
invoices
like this that has all the numbers on it that tells you where these are? Is there anything on?
This is the one.
Okay, so you have, to get a detail of any of those line items, there's a report called the Detailed Profit and Loss. You could look in there and it would show you the vendors that total that. You could ask the town staff if you wanted to actually look at the invoices that were paid.
But it would have to be the invoices, there isn't a list
Yes.
on the QuickBooks, whatever you're using.
Okay, now so you can prepare a detailed profit and loss, and it would show the detail of all the expenses, but included in those line items, it would show a detail.
Okay, and, I had a question, just because this stuff doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Obviously, on page 1, where it's about a third of the way down, number 323-100 electricity franchise fee, it was 96% in November, but it's down to 87% now. Why?
It's based on, frankly, it's based on utility usage, and frankly, it's higher in the summer. It depends on, because that is a % of the sales of utilities in the town, and obviously just like your utility bill fluctuates month to month.
So we used more electricity in October, November than we did October through December.
You might have, and it's not what you use,
That's
it's what
3
the
months,
town
though.
uses.
Why
Well,
would 2 months use more than 3 months?
it's just something that fluctuates. The Duke Energy sends you the check, and it's based on what they collected in utilities.
So this is actually a 1 month, or this says October through November
It's 3
and
months.
October through December? So I don't understand, the longer we go into the year, why it went down. If it's 3 months, the same 3 months, or 2 months.
Isn't this like with the total of everybody's utilities?
And again,
It's not just the cities, it's
When you-
everybody's
This is
utilities.
everybody.
when you look at budget
In the whole
actual
town.
reports, it's gonna fluctuate, and early in the year, it's not gonna mean nearly as much as it'll mean 6 months later.
But doesn't October through December include October through November?
Yes.
Then why did it go down?
Okay.
Do you understand my question?
No, okay, so here's where you're
We
wrong.
got October through November, and we have this percentage, then we go October all the way through December, including another month, and it goes down. Why?
Because, well, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to explain it to you. That's a pro rata portion of the budget, pro rata, and so it just depends, but it didn't, you collected what you collected, but see, and the problem with having a lot of columns in a budget, that's a % of the 3-month budget, is what it is. The other was a % of the 2-month budget. And so it's gonna be hopefully by the end of the year, you hope it gets to 100%.
Okay, that makes sense. Percent of the 3-month budget versus percent of the 2-month budget.
So basically, the budget amount went up more than the actual amounts, which caused the percentage.
Well, the budget is a flat thing,
Yeah.
3/12 of it, 2/12, but the actual basis on what the whole town pays in utilities.
But that item is money we get from Duke based on everybody in our territory.
Understood.
Yeah,
I just didn't understand how it could go down when it included the higher number.
You know, that's like the phone tax and everything else, that tax everybody pays, franchise fees.
Now, does that franchise include both the incorporated town and unincorporated?
Just incorporated.
Just the incorporated. Thank you.
And I did have another question on, and this is just because this is the only thing I looked at, 'cause I had it 2 minutes before I sat down.
That's okay.
Under the, local business tax, and it talks about the actual,
Okay, so what line item is that?
it's about
Yes, is that
316.
Okay,
And in the October, November, it was listed as $1,937. And then October through December, it's at $3,497. Now, is that actual, does that 3,000 include the 19?
Sure.
Or is
It's
it just the-
cumulative. It's cumulative, yes, it
Okay.
includes that and basically that's occupational licenses, and you collect that at the first of you send out the bills the first of the fiscal year, and you collect it over the next couple of months. It's kind of a prepay, a lot like ad valorem tax.
And do different businesses pay different months?
Okay, the town has an ordinance regarding occupational licenses. Based on that ordinance, they send out bills, end of September, and they cover the next fiscal year. And you pay it once, and you pay it for a year. If you open up in the middle of the year, you pay it, but it's not for the whole, but it's for that year,
So, Shanika or Don Shay has sent out the bills already.
Yeah.
And then how long do they have to pay these bills? Is there a time limit? I mean, are we gonna
Okay.
still be getting money in on this line item in 6 months or no?
You shouldn't
No.
be unless it's
No.
new business.
When are they
New
due?
businesses coming.
They should be finished by,
They should have sent in for the new occupation license by September 30th.
so,
Now, we might, if someone come in with a new business or something, Kodak. But those are complete, and we've submitted all of that to general fund.
okay, and there's a line item for each one of those on this P&L statement, or no? Where would that be?
Well, the category is in there.
In where?
Now, the detail of that, there are records on that, but it'd be a long list. But
And if you would like a copy of that, I can provide it for you.
And how many businesses do we have?
I don't know exactly
Ballpark?
right now how many, but I can provide that.
Are we
Print
talking
out for you.
25 or 1,000?
No, no way.
Okay, ballpark, do you know how many businesses we have?
I will provide you a copy. I will get a copy of,
Okay, do you wanna
everything that was
email it to
submitted.
me so you don't have to print anything out?
No, that need to be a 119 request.
yeah, it has to be on 19, but I can provide it. I can provide it for you.
Okay, is this
It's not,
considered,
that's
is
not an
this,
issue. And,
now, we have talked about before that 119s could be verbal, is this considered a verbal 119 request?
It's on the record.
No,
No.
well, no,
no,
it's gotta be.
So it's
during
no
business.
longer verbal,
It can be verbal, but during office hours.
okay.
If you look on there, we budgeted $2,246, for, excuse me. We budgeted $1,250 for property, for business license. We have collected $3,400. So, we've collected more than we budgeted this year.
Why would that be?
Some people have got license that didn't get them before, or, we don't have a licensed inspector out here, we try to catch people as we can, but even mom and pop operations pay a business license or an occupational business tax license.
Okay. And they just come in and tell you that they want a business
Well, we-
license?
so they don't just come in and tell me they have to provide documentation from IRS and other documents
Okay,
to open a business up.
so do you know why it's over budget by $1,000, over budget by $2,000?
Because we collected
You
it.
mean as far as collection, of how much we
It
collected?
just says over budget, I don't know what I mean.
It means
Okay,
they
again,
collected
budget.
more than they thought they were gonna collect.
The budget's
That's
a
all it
pro
is.
rata number.
And sure, the Florida League of Cities work with us also on occupation license.
Uh-huh.
If some of the insurance companies do not request the new license, the Florida League of Cities will go after them, and then they will have to ask for their license, and we will have to submit them to them. So,
So they stay
if
over,
balance,
keep
it
an
goes
eye on it?
up, it goes down. You might have a business this year that you wanna cancel the next year. So it's up and it's down.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have all those records?
I can tell you one other thing that caused this number to be low. The legislature for the last 2 years has come this close of passing legislation that would prevent local government from collecting business license or business taxes. And we decided that during the budget time, if it happens, we don't want to budget something that it may get curtailed in the middle of the year or something, and we have to refund or something like that, or July. A lot of those things go back in July, and ours goes through the end of September. So we personally, intentionally, put less into this time, not knowing what the legislature's going to do. Now we'll see this legislation is back in the package again this time for not to allow the local governments to collect business tax license.
Or just forbid us to?
But it didn't pass last 2 times, it's close, and it could just go either way. But that's one reason it's lower than it would. Just so we wouldn't have a large number out there, but we know we might not get it.
I just pulled this out of the hat because they were so different from each other from last time to this time, because I don't understand this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Powell.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Page 4, under income, 384.500, county funds, 2001 A and B bonds is budgeted at 11,250, but we've not received anything for that yet. What is that in reference?
Okay, so that means, if you could help me again with the page and line item, Robert?
Page 4, and it's under income, it's line item 384,500, county funds, 2001 A and B bonds.
Okay, so,
So we have it budgeted at 11,250, and there's no.
okay, so it's a classification issue. If you look up on the Hamilton County Grant 337-100, it's a collection, but there's no budget. So it's just a classification issue.
What do you mean by classification issue?
I mean, it's in one line item and not in the line item that has the budget, but it's still there and it's in compliance with the budget. Everything that you get and everything that you write a check for, you classify it to some line item and.
1 second, please. If these folks gotta make budgetary decisions and they see where they've been budgeted for $11,000 and they plan to use it, but it's nothing more than a whiff of smoke, you put them at risk and the town at risk. So we need to, no, I'm
Okay.
saying that report is putting them in a position where they think they have $11,000, 500, or whatever it is more than they actually will ever get. So you see what I mean?
No, sir. Well, I'm gonna answer you though, and I don't like to answer people in the audience. The money was collected, it's in there, it's in revenues. It's in one line item in revenues, but it's not in the other one. So anyone reasonable can look at that and understand it.
What is it? It is in revenues, but it's not in what?
Okay, okay, so if you look on this page, you look at the second line item, Hamilton County Grant, $45,000.
Yes,
See, budget 0. Understand that?
okay.
Okay, so you go down to, what was the line item, Robert?
384,
384,500.
right above sanitation.
Okay. Okay, so there's a line item of 11,500, but there's no actual. Combine those two line items and that's what it is. So there's no net anything. The financial report is correct. It agrees with the bank reconciliation. It agrees with everything.
Okay.
And it doesn't take very much effort to look at that and understand it.
Well, it does if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, let's, for the order's sake, we're not gonna allow Mr. Powell to answer any more questions. If you got some questions, provide them to me and we'll get you an answer to them, please.
I'm done. Is there, actually, one, can we, move that budget amount up from
I
the county
promise you
funds?
the next time it'll be fixed.
Okay.
This is early and you kind of, yes. When you find little things like that, you fix it. We're trying to give you the most accurate information we can with everybody working on it.
Now, when you mentioned
Exactly.
that 45 and you mentioned the 40, are those earlier, are those different things?
No, the same thing.
So one's 40 and one's 45?
No, the 45, if I said 40, I misspoke, it's 45. The county gives you 45,000 every year
You did say
in
that, I'm
support
sorry.
of the utility systems. You collected it already.
So it's done for the year.
11,000 budget is a pro rata amount of the 45. And that really doesn't take a astute person to figure that out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's move on down to, the agenda. 6A.
So I didn't get a chance to have Cindy print this one out. So we did vote on resolution 2026-20 at a special meeting on January 5th. The same evening, an email was sent to Ms. Aldridge, and 7 days have now expired. And I think I checked with everybody, we have not received a response requesting a hearing. Therefore, we can now move to do a final declaration of forfeiture of the seat. So I did prepare, this is resolution number 2026-21, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of White Springs, Florida, making final declaration of vacancy in Town Council seat pursuant to section 2.03, subsection A, subsection 4, and section 2.03A8 of the town charter. Yeah, that wasn't printed out, I'm just gonna read it to you, it's pretty short. Whereas on January 5th, 2026, the Town Council adopted Resolution 2026-20, determining that Shirley Aldridge's council seat had been forfeited in September 2025 pursuant to section 2.03, subsection A4 of the town charter, due to failure to attend 3 consecutive meetings without council approval. Whereas Resolution 2026-20 directed that written notice be provided to Shirley Aldridge pursuant to section 2.03A8 of the town charter. Whereas written notice was provided to Shirley Aldridge on January 5th, 2026 by electronic mail, informing her of the council's determination and her right to request a hearing within 7 days. Whereas the 7-day period for requesting a hearing expired on January 12, 2026. Whereas no written request for a hearing was received by the town clerk from Shirley Aldridge within the prescribed period. Whereas pursuant to section 2.03, subsection A8, when no hearing is requested within the required time period, the council's determination becomes final. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of White Springs, Florida, Section 1, final declaration, the Town Council hereby makes final declaration that the council seat appointed to Shirley Aldridge in June 2025 was forfeited in September 2025 and has been vacant since that time. Section 2, cessation of compensation. The town manager is directed to immediately cease all compensation payments to Shirley Aldridge. Section 3, vacancy filling. The town council shall proceed to fill the vacancy pursuant to section 2.03C2 of the town charter by nominating and appointing a qualified resident at the February 2026 regular meeting. Section 4, official records. The town clerk shall update all town records to reflect the vacancy since September 2025. Section 5, right to appeal pursuant to Section 2.03A8. This determination may be appealed to the circuit court within Hamilton County, Florida. Section 6, effective date. This resolution takes effect immediately upon adoption. Then it would be passed and adopted this 13th of January 2026 by the town council.
On the original one from last time, we had a section 4, cessation of compensation. Does that just sit with this one and not have to be
We took
included?
that out.
You took it out.
The whole thing?
Yeah, that was the original one. We took that out on the one that was actually signed.
Okay, so the whole thing was, I thought just the last words were, thank you.
That whole sentence was taken out.
But it's not her back pay is not addressed in this new thing?
Recovery of funds,
That one?
yes.
That wasn't voted on in the last resolution. That would have to be something decided by the council to add to the
I
resolution.
thought it was voted on.
Excuse me,
Wait,
Sorry.
no.
hold on.
The motion by the council was to remove that sentence. So that sentence was removed. The council did not make any motion to add any language to the resolution. There was a discussion, but I'm just going off of what the prior resolution was and what this is. The council would have to make that determination if they want to add language to the resolution.
I thought we voted to go with the collection agency since it wouldn't cost.
No.
There was talk about it.
Hmm?
There was talk, but there was not a vote. The only vote, because it was a motion made by Robert, if I'm correct, to remove that sentence in the resolution, but there was never any motion to add language to the resolution.
The new resolution.
The resolution from last week.
So does this replace the resolution from last week?
No, it's subsequent
It's
to the
a-
resolution from
okay.
last week.
So do we need to add language to this one?
If that's the desire of the council.
My question is, what is our legal standing as far as recovering this money? Does she have a legal obligation to pay it back, or are we hoping she will see a moral obligation to pay it back?
Good question. I think if we brought this to a court of law, I don't think a court of law would require her to pay it. Because she was given it over time, and would it be fair to her, with the expectation that she was paid for her to pay it back? That doesn't mean it won't be, but I think it could go either way. It's not ironclad one way or the other.
I thought we decided to do try and recoup the funds simply because she did not fulfill her contract.
Discussion and decision might be different things. There was no vote of council. So there was no official action taken by
So
council.
we need to have a discussion right now
But you would need to vote for it to be an
to
official
conclude the
action.
discussion.
No, in order for there to be a directive from council, there would need to be a vote, not just a discussion.
That's right.
So
Ask
so is it, would I ask for a discussion?
So the proper parliamentary procedure would be for somebody to, motion to adopt, somebody seconds, then it opens to discussion, then we discuss. If there's an amendment that we want, you would move to amend. We would second the movement to amend it, vote on that movement to amend it, and then go back and vote on the original or amended motion.
So what I'm asking is to amend this resolution that you just read.
Mhm.
If we want to.
I'd like to,
That, if we want to.
So somebody would basically have to make a motion.
all right, I'd like to make a motion.
Well, hold on for a second.
I move to, okay, never mind.
So, I was at the meeting, I thought were clear that we were gonna recover the money, I thought that had been discussed and agreed upon. If you tell the IRS, hey, the government overpaid me, you can't take that money back, the IRS is gonna lock you up. Like, the fact that she took 6 months, we gave her the first 3, I think that was the discussion that we had, that the first 3 months, we're like, we should have been on our game a little bit more, pushing her to give us a response if she's gonna attend. But at the 3-month mark, we should have cut her off, but we didn't cut her off. We continued to pay her for 3 more months. And like Scott Gay had said, I don't know if he's here joining us tonight, is if you folks on the council had come up with $1,500 of money that was given to her, that you would probably go knocking on her door to get the money back. I need the ditch cleaned out on Bridge Street, actually we all do. If you got $1,500 to be just casting out into the wind, then hire a stump grinder and get those stumps out of there. But I thought it was clear at the end of that meeting that yes, we were gonna go after that money.
No, we never did vote on it, and, let me say this. When you try to go after somebody just for $1,500, the court case gonna be bigger than what it is.
If somebody owes me $1,500, I'm gonna go through the effort to get it from them. This town, we're talking about small amounts of money in our budget, and $1,500.
It's gonna cost us more to take this to court.
So if we get zero,
But are we taking it
$1,500.
to court, or we just going to a collection agency?
And plus, we have a whole lot of loopholes that we did not answer to her.
well, you folks on the council, you're the ones that are on council, she was not present. You let this
We
go for
understand
6 months. Somebody in front of me owes the town $1,500. Whether it's Shirley, who's not present, or it's the council and the town manager, whose responsibility it is to oversee our money, needs to produce $1,500, or put her through $1,500 of effort. If we break even on it, then that's the path you need to go through. Not to just throw your hands up and say, oh, it's just not worth the effort. That was your job. She wasn't here, and all of us are asking.
And I understand that. No, she was not here.
Yeah.
But we also went out on good faith that she would return. We heard word that she come back in October. She never showed up in October. Mr. Garner reached out to her. She never answered.
Then at
I
month three,
called and reached out.
At
She
month
never
three.
answered.
Mayor, at month 3, then at that point, you cut her off. At month 3, you stop the payments to her on month 3, and then you address the other issues of the finality of it. She didn't produce any of that work that she got paid 6 months for. Town manager, that you should have cut the money off. There's no way that money should continue to go on to her
Like
after
I
months.
said, we was going out on good faith. And trying
It
to go
ended at
after
3 months though, Mayor.
$1,500.
The town manager would not have the authority to do that.
No.
The
Then-
town council would have had to do that.
Then the 4 of you that are present on the town council are responsible to ensure that our funds are managed properly. At month 3, you should have put the brakes on it. At month 3. Not continuing 6 months down the road. Little town like this, $1,500 is impactful. That's giving her the other $1,500, so it's actually $3,000. $3,000 that we just tossed out into the wind.
And I thought we discussed the, what was the name of that program that we were gonna do to get the money back that didn't cost?
Collections, to go send to
Go to
collections.
collections,
Yeah.
which wouldn't cost us anything. Is
There
that-
was discussion. We're not denying that there was discussion.
Okay,
There was
so-
no action.
What does
No-
discussion,
Action
what
has
does,
to, action, discussion without action by the council is just that discussion.
so right now, if we decided to go with a collection agency, would it cost the town, as the mayor's proposing, a legal battle?
If you're gonna go through collections and they do what they're gonna do, they're gonna get their money, they're gonna take part of the money. We're not gonna get $1,500.
Understood.
If we had to sue her in court, that is not part
That's
of,
not an option.
right, because that's not part of
But
my,
is collections an option?
What if I don't pay my water bill? What are you gonna do then? Are you gonna continue to leave my water on indefinitely? Or at some point, you're gonna turn my water off? You're gonna turn my water off, I guarantee it.
gotta have, it's too much going on. We wanna hear, but it's hard, this isn't how we can discuss business the best way, is if we are doing too much from the audience in the council.
My apologies, but we let a town manager walk out of here with unscathed, and we started with the new regime to say that from this day forward, we're gonna do better. We're gonna manage the town's money better. We're gonna keep control of it, and we're gonna watch over the town's money. And this is the point why we got a second chance with the state of Florida to keep our town charter, was to be better stewards of this money and to be better at governance.
And I think the council has heard that, and then the council needs to decide what they wanna do.
So,
But we gotta, public comment is public comment, And if we do too much back and forth, we're gonna end up back where we were before with videos that aren't very pleasant.
So, to move ahead, what do we need to, is it gonna be, can we use a collection agency to see what we can get back or no?
The can part, yes, yes.
Okay, and why would we not try and get at least some of the money back for the town?
That would be up to the town council to decide if they wanna do that.
So has anybody even asked her if she would be willing to compromise and give us back $1,500?
Nobody,
Since I've been,
Show up to her house, send a certified letter. So, as far as the $1,500 versus the $3,000 goes, regardless of how this plays out, we would owe her $1,500. I agree with you. In an ideal world, we should have went to the 3-month mark and said, I know you're in a bad spot, but we gotta do what we gotta do and cut off the contract. But I also understand that she's in a very complicated medical situation. My mother was very recently diagnosed with cancer, and she's been going to chemo. So I know firsthand what it's like to be there in the doctor's office, and they keep moving the goalposts. And they move it by a day, they move it by a week. You keep getting told you're gonna be better, you're gonna get off in a week, and it just never happens. So I don't think this was some kind of malicious plot on her behalf to rob the town of $1,500. I think in an ideal world where we didn't just get rid of her at the 3 mark, she would have at some point said, I can't believe anything this guy's telling me anymore, and she would have resigned and stopped collecting a paycheck. That didn't happen. Instead, we got to this point where now it's 6 months in, we still have no answers, and we're just cutting it off. We're finally saying, okay, we're done.
So do we show leniency to those that we have compassion for? And do we have adherence to rules that those that we don't like?
We give them a chance to do the right thing.
6 months, half a year.
So what is
No,
your
we give
proposal?
Yeah.
that we add some language to the bill. Can we do mediation of some kind?
mediation is expensive.
Okay, let me rephrase, instead of mediation, before we jump to collections or threats or lawsuits, can we attempt to collect the $1,500, to send a certified letter, to ask her, because she might be more willing to give it to us than we are giving her credit for. We're kind of painting her as a supervillain right now, when she just maybe is sick of everything too.
So, and to clarify, until the council votes on this, there was no obligation, she wasn't vacated from her seat. So there was no opportunity to ask her for this money prior to what we're deciding to do today, which is to forfeit her seat. So there was no opportunity to ask her previously if she paid this money back.
So now that we are gonna vote, let's say we vote yes on this and it passes, then our next step would be, how do we initiate what Robert's suggesting? Legally.
Council can vote on what they want me to do, or what they want Mr. Gardner to do.
First, we got to vote on her seat being forfeited.
You got the regular resolution that she read.
I move to adopt resolution 2026-21.
I second.
Okay, here's the motion and second that we adopt, resolution 2026-21. Any discussion?
Yeah, I move to amend the resolution to include a clause that the town will attempt
Hold on,
to.
Robert.
Mm-mm.
They didn't
Promise,
vote
I don't
yet.
have, well, you don't vote, you vote on the amendment.
You have a motion and a second.
Well,
Can we amend it after we vote yes?
no, you amended beforehand. You move to amend, and then somebody seconds, and then you discuss, then you decide if there's gonna be an amendment. If there is no amendment, then you vote as originally passed. If there is no amendment, then you vote as amended. But the problem is I don't have a copy of the bill in front of me, so I can't say where to add this language.
Well, if you tell me what language you want to add, I can tell you where I would add it.
That the town will attempt reasonable efforts to collect $1,500, not $1,500 from Shirley, or
Okay.
from the previous council member, whatever you would like.
So I would add this under where we have cessation of compensation. That says the town manager is directed to immediately cease all compensation payments to Shirley Aldridge. And then we would add the sentence, the town will attempt to collect $1,500 from $1,500
About making it 3 months salary,
which is the 1,500.
400 or something, or
No, that's it. It's
Huh?
$500 a month, and the 461 is what goes in the bank
Yeah, but
after
we've got-
taxes.
we've got some taxes and social security and so forth, I'm sure.
So her net amount, I
So
guess.
the
is-
net amount, her
Yes.
net
So how are
amount.
we gonna get the money back that we paid for the state? And the
Mr. Powell can work with that. Mr. Powell can address that. There's a way to do it. If you're getting that.
We
So
gotta
the
put
net
her
amount.
net amount, not gross
Okay,
amount.
so collect,
It's 461.75.
that's 75 times 3. Okay. I'll do the math. Trust my calculator. I'm not supposed to do that. So the town will attempt to collect 461.75 times 3, whatever that number is, from Shirley Aldridge.
Do we have a timeline?
Two months, and then if nothing happens in 2 months, then we escalate, be my recommendation.
And by attempt, do you want to describe or note what those attempt, what you mean by attempt?
Like the letter?
It's certified now.
Okay.
And do we outline what we're gonna do in 2 months, or do we wait? We'll say like in 2 months, it will be, with no response, it will be turned over to a collection agency? I don't know.
Okay, how about this? The town attorney is directed to send a certified letter to Shirley Aldridge
To reimburse or whatever.
demanding,
Do you ever put the word demanding? Cause it's gonna be it's kinda harsh.
Well, if
That's
there's
the
any
language,
legal
though.
consequences, then you have to use demanding.
Yeah.
demanding reimbursement of whatever that figure is,
Right.
461.75 times 3, within 60 days.
60 days.
Or with the consequences added in there or not?
That would be up to you guys. I don't know if maybe I
think
just
it-
report back
I think if
at
we,
the
I
March
think if we
meeting.
put it in there, she'll understand what will happen if she decides to ignore it.
Okay, well then, next sentence. For the next sentence.
My concern is if you're selling debt to collections, it has to be a legally identified debt, correct? And if this is something that is in the air that would require litigation to become an identified debt,
Why even identify?
could we do that? Because it's in a fairly gray area of HR law right now, correct? So that would be my concern with immediately jumping to collections, is we're trying to sell a debt that might not meet the criteria for selling debt.
Do you want me to talk about all of this right here in this meeting. I don't wanna go over all the pros and cons here.
We would like
I
to
would-
know your good opinion, your
I
educated
would
opinion.
say that, we could put in some language, trying to figure out how to put it.
Maybe to avoid
How
whatever,
about this?
to avoid the possibility of.
If reimbursement is not received,
There's the possibility.
then collection options
Will be attempted.
will be
Pursued.
pursued. So those two sentences would be added to section 2. Do you want me to reread them?
Yes, please.
Let's see what.
Well, the proper way to motion would be to, I motion to add this to here, if I didn't memorize that.
Okay, so,
Motion, let her read it.
or you could just motion and then have me do the read instead of
Okay, I motion to add,
this language. The town attorney is directed to send a certified letter to Shirley Aldridge demanding reimbursement of the figure within 60 days. If reimbursement is not received, then collection options will be pursued.
to resolution 2026-21 in the section
2.
2.
I second.
Okay, he has been motion and second that we, that we accept resolution 2026-21 for the collection of the $1,500 from Shirley Aldridge. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor Brown opposed. So the motion carried 3-1.
Now we go back to the original motion to adopt 2026-21 as amended.
Okay. Did y'all second on
I second.
that? Okay, here's the motion and second that we adopt resolution 2026-2021 as amended. Ready for the question, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
For the record, that amount is $1,385.25.
1,003 what?
$385.25.
Thank you.
Question, we have a vote for forfeiting a seat?
Yeah, that was what the
That's,
amended, that
okay.
That's what the amended.
I'm still trying to look for the word forfeiting a seat. Okay, let's go to the, accept amendment. Number 1,
Well, what,
to continue, service
yeah,
agreement.
we have, back in, several months ago, we accepted, CPH as a consulting firm instead of the name Midtown. And because of that, there's some federal language that was not in the Midtown agreement that is required for them doing grants and everything for us. And all this does is add two or three, prohibition against fees and adjustment clauses in here, to comply with federal regulations. That's all that.
Is that in addition to what we voted on last time?
No, we voted, last time we voted to accept, consignment of, consignment CPH holding. But at the time, we accepted it as what the,
What we
just
had.
what we had with Midtown. Now that it's been massaged, there's some things that need to be in their
Understood.
agreement to, for us to have, for them to be grants for. And that's all this is just, bring it up for federal regulations.
Thank you for the clarification.
So you got a copy over there, is a motion
I move to adopt addendum number 1 to continuing services agreement between Town of White Springs, Florida and CPH Consulting LLC.
Okay, here's the motion and second that we adopt the amendment number 1. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
I have a question about 6, about A. Are we doing anything to move forward with a new appointee? Because we didn't mention that.
we will.
Where is that bringing up?
We
It was in the resolution.
It's in the resolution of, that we.
So what are we doing about putting out notices or whatever? Don't we have to do something like that?
We will, we're gonna get copies of that, she's got it written in the resolution. She read it, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
So we'll get it printed out.
that the town council shall proceed to fill vacancy pursuant to section 2.03C2 of the town charter by nominating and appointing a qualified resident at the February 2026 regular meeting.
So if we don't start putting out letters of intent now, how are we gonna vote on it in February?
We gotta wait on her first.
We'll get this, and then we'll get it out.
We'll have a special meeting?
We'll advertise
Don't need
it.
to wait on me for anything, y'all.
Yeah, but just get the word on
Yeah.
that word you just read out there.
The part that I read out about collections?
No, about appointing.
No, the town council,
what
part of the
charter?
resolution
It's in
is
the
that the
charter,
town
too.
council shall proceed. There isn't really a notice requirement, but nominations and appointments, how you wanna do that is up to town council.
Should we do it now or wait till February?
It said February is what she just read.
That's when the council will need to vote on it. How you wanna advertise it is up to the council.
What I suggest is we advertise it in the River Bend News and put it on the web page and the library, wherever, notice of position vacancy and
And ask
what the
everybody,
requirements are.
Yeah,
everybody in this room, who's running?
yes.
And this will
George,
be,
I nominate
Actually, I don't think I meet the requirements. I changed residency to Alaska briefly last year. It's my understanding.
12 months.
12 months prior to
12
that.
months, right?
Yeah.
12 months.
You
And
did
we'll-
that.
we'll-
So you haven't been here 12 months?
I've been here for about 5 years, but I briefly left, and therefore I broke the continuity of my residency. So the clock starts again in June when I return. Yeah,
George,
I'm a stickler for details, you know
we
that.
away from Alaska, stay
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah, I didn't expect it was gonna be necessary so soon.
But we will advertise properly and get it out.
He's 20. We might be moving to New York soon.
Oh, you?
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm trying to get you,
Okay, let's go to C. Consider employment amendment
Did you get one?
with town management manager.
Oh, I think,
For full-time position.
yeah, pass those.
Okay, we are here to discuss the town management, position as full-time.
One of the things, date, the effective date that we picked.
we have to backdate it, don't we?
Yeah, I couldn't remember what we
Back
were.
dating it to March of
With
2020.
the water
Yeah,
council meeting
that's,
So
in
when
February.
his other one went down?
yeah, we gotta change that.
But we
When,
did it in November.
November,
Yeah.
It was
did
in
it
November
at
council meeting. We didn't wait till December. We did it early in November.
Right, we did it in November.
the November meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
So what do we do? Is there a difference in pay between November and now?
Yep.
That would have been November 11th.
I think it was 11.
It wasn't the 11th. That was
the,
the
13. It
It
was
was-
13.
Yeah, it was that Thursday.
Yeah, November 13.
That's right, we ended up moving.
November 13th.
Okay.
Okay.
So, under section 1B, employment of Garner as manager shall be effective as of November 13, 2025. Okay, couple highlights. It's a 2-year term.
And this is all taken straight from the charter, correct? Pretty much.
Most of it is, of course. If you go under section 2D, we added in the hours of operation. So if you remember Vanessa's contract, this is sort of the base, but I'll tell you what was changed out of it. So hours of work, we added that from the interim town manager contract that we did, where we added in the hours and the requirements.
And where is this under two what?
2D, hours of work. That's on the second
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, I don't see specific hours. I think it's worded kind of like it was for her. Necessary time.
8 to 5?
D, you're looking at, you need to look at D as in dog.
Oh, I thought you said B. I'm sorry. There we go. That makes sense. Yay. Seems to be a whole lot more fair to the town.
I think I was very fair in the compensation part, based on what the job entails.
Yes. All right.
And all what we expect, let everybody know what that is.
Then we go under section 3A. Changes here would be, this is the part about termination without cause. Mr. Gardner is not being paid any health insurance. So the health insurance part is removed, and instead of the 20 weeks, it's 13 weeks, which is what Mr. Gardner asked for, instead of the 20 weeks.
Okay.
So he went down?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Told you I was out here to break the chain.
All right, under section 5, compensation annual salary is $68,820.
This is in the budget.
The language that was in Vanessa George's contract about automatic increase of 3% annually is still there.
Does that fit with the normal cost of living?
That's sort of like the basic cost of living, 3%.
Yeah, it fits with the joke that they tell us inflation is.
Yeah, gotcha. Section 6. We're not paying into his retirement, but instead, this is the language that was discussed. And if there's anything I'm not too sure about how I worded it, it's this sentence. So the council shall compensate Garner at 15% of the Florida Retirement System Senior Management Service Class retirement allowance paid as weekly installments.
Let me explain why, since I got 65, I've not been drawing retirement, and every place I've been, we've taken a percentage of my percentage, if I was paying the state retirement for senior manager, it would be 33.4%. So 33.4% of 68,000 is way 20 something thousand. All I'm asking here is give me some of it, which amounts to about $9,000 instead of 25,000.
So that is paid in addition to your
That's in addition to
68,
the 68.
and that's for retirement.
That's for retirement. No help.
And that's about, what you said, $9,000?
Ever what, I think, I don't have it here with me, but about 34%.
A week?
34% of 68,000.
And just divide the 34% by 52, and you're gonna get that a week?
Yeah, whatever that figures out. May I ask Gretchen, you get your calendar out there, or calculator?
Oh, I got there.
34% of 68,000.
68,820.
Huh?
34% of 68,000?
68,820.
Round it off.
That's not right.
Mhm.
Hold on, my brain's not working.
20-something thousand.
34% is $23,120.
$23,000 then, and I'm only asking for 9,000, or 15% of what that would be.
It's 15. It's 10,000. 15% of that is 10,200.
And divided by 52?
Yeah.
For per week, yes.
$196 a week.
No car allowance and everything, If somebody in here follows me, I tell you, you're gonna get a whole lot more money in that than somebody in here.
Yeah.
Benefits and everything else, guarantee it's gonna be $100,000 or more.
Now remember, we're also not paying health insurance either. That's a mistake. We go down to, I see a change here. I'm pretty sure this original was based off of Columbia County maybe, I don't know, some other county. But if you look in section 8A, I need to make a change there. So it would read, be compensated for annual leave, sick leave, holiday leave, and other benefits as generally granted to other
Strike
employees of the town.
Right.
And strike all that other stuff.
Yeah, that would be.
Previously, section 9 for life insurance was 60,000. That was already in here. I don't know if that's standard with the town or not, or if that's something different. That was what was previously here in the other
That
contract.
was in the, is that in the charter?
No, that wouldn't be in the charter, but this is what Vanessa was receiving. I don't know if this is,
And that's not a deal breaker. I mean, if you want to strike that, I'm willing to strike that furnishing life insurance.
I think $60,000, if you don't mind striking, it would help the town tremendously.
It's not gonna cost us
It is
$60,000.
insurance.
$60,000.
$60,000 for
I know these
insurance.
things, I don't have to do it.
Probably, you know,
Sorry.
at my age, it'd be probably pretty.
$3?
I mean, yeah, his age might be
So I have no
25.
objection to striking that.
That'd be nice. So ballpark, what are we talking in money?
Are you already receiving?
I haven't got it.
That's right,
That
no.
must have been, that's normally in a ICMA contract,
Right,
goes to get all the others, but this is, I'll be voluntarily waive that,
wanna take
strike,
that out?
strike it.
Okay.
So we're taking A out.
It's striking.
And then we have B there where Gardner has declined health insurance benefits. I would probably just go ahead, health insurance benefits and term life insurance, since we're taking that.
Okay, so B will be A,
Yeah,
gonna have declined health insurance.
We'll get your first copy of this.
Yeah, but we can still vote tonight?
Yes, please,
You gotta vote on this.
mhm.
That's it.
That,
And
yeah, that's all, I mean, we have in there about the cell phone, $45, that was from before, that you have, access to use of county vehicles.
whatever, right, yeah.
And so, those were the changes.
I have a question. Housing, what are you doing about housing?
I'm ready for housing.
Okay,
No postal city.
okay, so you're covered. Gotcha. And you got the car that's.
The car that you
You're
got
gonna keep out
here,
here,
get
yeah.
back and forth, but, you know, I go to Chattahoochee, I take my own car, but this is
You
business
got the
car.
one of those
Business
ones that were
related, yeah.
donated, gotcha. Okay.
And I'd like to make one statement that, I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be my last job.
I'm gonna talk to your wife about that
This is
one.
gonna be my last job,
Well, you're gonna be here for a while, so
I work long enough and I'll work as long as I can, but I have no idea what, if I get sick tomorrow or next year or whatever, but this is my
well,
last
you
job.
that.
Not gonna look at it
Well,
again.
I appreciate you from.
And I'll tell you, y'all will probably hear, the city of Chattahoochee, city manager resigned last Tuesday night.
And you're not going
And
there.
I ain't going back to
Okay.
Chattahoochee city manager. I'm gonna live there, but I ain't gonna be city manager. Chattahoochee.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, town manager employment agreement between the town council of the town of White Springs, Florida, and Elman Lee Garner, as amended.
I second the motion.
Okay, here's the motion and second that we accept, the, position, the agreement of, Elma Lee Gardner and the amendment, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes, have it. Okay, then,
Number D, and that's, I'll be glad to cover that part.
okay. D, approve request for Hamilton County Sheriff. Documentation.
After the incident, just a couple weeks ago, sheriff came in and met with me. And was very adamant, as sheriff of the county and chief law enforcement officer of the county, and also our law enforcement officer, because we have a police department, that there be no more after hours street blocking and block parties and all that without his and his town's approval ahead of time. And so,
By the town's approval, you mean the council's approval?
but council, council, we'll wind up with some document, policy or something like that. And then we have y'all approve where it be me or, but if you want council to do it, it's fine with me, but, I think it's all at most times, it's not necessary, anyhow, how those parties out at nighttime in the streets, but that's just my opinion. But he's adamant and asks us, and I told him we would comply with his demands for the time being, until we can have a joint meeting with the sheriff and the council, and whatever, and discuss this, see how we want to proceed in the future. So that's, as far as there's lower moratorium on all nighttime street parties or road blocking and all that stuff. I mean, he didn't say anything about the daytime. And so that's another thing we need to address is what's going on during the day, hardware store and other places, churches will have a yard sale or a street sale or something during the day. I think we can do that, but at nighttime where the viciousness can happen. So that's my recommendation to you, and if you want to make a motion to accept that, the sheriff's recommendation, yes.
Can I recommend that you put a statement in there, something like after local sunset time? Because you say nighttime, to the people around here, a lot of people say that's 10 o'clock at night. You and I have been around here. So,
After local sunset time,
local sunset time.
and it's established every day.
It's established every day. You can go on your weather app and find it.
I mean, that's good work, I mean, sure.
I move to accept Sheriff Creech's recommendation that we do not allow any block parties or street closures after sundown until such a time as we agree with the sheriff to lift that ban.
Second.
Okay, has been motion and second that we accept Sheriff Creech, new application for block parties. Any discussion?
Yes. Okay, the way you read it, Robert, you forgot the part where it says unless the sheriff and town approves special permit.
I mean, well, special event, I mean, you willing to work
No,
with us?
but I'm just saying that needs to be added in.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of the new
You
application.
agree with that?
Yeah, I'm just not sure how to amend it, like,
Well, we don't know what it's going to wind up
Yeah.
in, but he specifically made that request, and as the chief law enforcement officer,
That's gonna be part of the new application.
I know, but I'm just saying, when he was saying to approve that request from the sheriff, he didn't put like everything that the sheriff said, unless the sheriff and the town approves the special permit.
well, it's really,
can I just make the motion again then?
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
Did someone second it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sheriff,
Then, as long as Cheryl is okay with you redoing
I
it.
rescind my second.
There you go.
Okay. I move to approve the request from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office to discontinue all block parties and street closures for events after sundown until further notice within town limits unless the sheriff and town approve special permits and until a time that we lift such a ban.
Right, okay.
A second.
There has been motion and second that we'll, accept Sheriff Creech new application. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
If I could get you to make that Sheriff Creech's request to not, or to discontinue, not application, request.
Oh, request,
Okay.
okay.
This is the
Sheriff
verbiage.
Creech request for block parties to discontinue. Okay. And I said all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried, ayes have it.
I wanna, can I add? So, I did work on the new application.
Mhm.
It's 14 pages.
Oh, yeah.
This is for street closure? Oh, I love you.
And I tried to print 10 copies, and that's why my printer died. So this is something I'll email to everyone, but it is going to require that the sheriff's office signs off on having reviewed it, not necessarily approving it, but that they acknowledge that they're aware of it. And that would need to be done before they even turn it in to the town, so that the
Is there a
applicant
date?
is responsible for
Like
doing
the
it.
number of days that they do this in?
It's 10 business days to turn it into the town, but this would be after they have already
So they have to go to the
Sheriff's
sheriff's
office
before
first.
that,
Mhm.
before the 10 days. Okay.
Yep. And then there will be insurance requirements and security plans, site plans. I know the language that was there before about alcohol, I'm sure you will like this. Sale, serve, or consume would be the questions that would be asked.
So the sheriff may not ultimately be able to support it even, so let's just say that the council approves it, and so it would require support from the sheriff's office, and the sheriff may not legitimately be able to support it at that given time, so I think we need to, so that ultimately, may get approved by the council, but ultimately he could say, no, I can't
Yeah,
support this.
he's.
Yeah, either one, information that thinks there's gonna be a problem.
So more than just make him aware of it.
Yeah,
Give
right,
him some kind of
yeah,
veto
yeah, right,
due to his constraints.
It allows for review and comment
yeah.
of any. And then that comment can then determine
Whether or not we vote on it.
Yeah, but even
what
at
is
that
out
point,
of town.
because this last one, from what you all have said, is it was kind of sprung on at the last minute, 3 days prior to the event, and it's like, he's got people that have schedules, and he has staffing that he's got to balance out, and if you say to somebody, even 10 business days out, you might have people on vacation, people on medical leave, or whatever those things are, just actually not be able to support the event. So, ultimately, we need the support of law enforcement more than anything in order to properly and safely run these things. So he's got to ultimately have the final call.
Right.
That's my point.
I don't think you want to turn over all of town business to a final call from the county, just
But if he
because.
sits on there, I don't have enough
Yeah.
bushes, and it would be on it would behoove us to follow his guide.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, go ahead, finish saying what you're saying.
So there's, if he put on here that he doesn't have the manpower
Right.
for something like this,
Yeah.
then that would certainly go into consideration. But you also have an option where maybe the individuals hire armed security or something of that
No,
nature.
no.
to-
We know what the
I you're
last
saying.
council did.
No, I know what
No.
you're saying, but no, you can't.
It's an option.
It's an option,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to be an option.
That's right.
Excuse me, okay, on the last permit, when I was on the council previously, any function, regardless of who's having it, what side of town it's on, whatever rules we make today goes for every group in White Springs,
Yeah.
regardless. Now, if the thing was, if it's a group of 50 people, you have to have one officer or one security officer. If it's 51 people, to 100, you had to have 2. That language needs to stay in there. And when we're going back to all of these days, to my understanding, even when Don them have their street sale, you don't have private security there.
There's no alcohol present.
It doesn't matter. Every block party, every gathering of these young people do not always have alcohol. Y'all stereotyping right now, and I'm getting a little upset. Hold on, I let you talk, let me have my day. Now, when this was the previous council, that was for any event, period. Whoever's having a street closure. Street closure. If it's more than 50 people, you're supposed to have your own security anyway. If it's 52 people, 51, 52 to 100, you're supposed to have 2 security officers there, off-duty police officers. The police was just there, to do other things. You're supposed to have your own security. That was in the first contract, if I'm not mistaken. Secondly, when we're going back to these 10 days, even Don doesn't turn his stuff in 10 days ahead of time. So we're gonna stop nitpicking with certain groups and make everything be the same for everyone. No, there's nothing any different. Somebody can walk around, Bridge Street, Hamilton Street or whatever, with a gun, start shooting, you don't know. Police was right here at my house when the shooting started. You don't have any intentions, you don't know what nobody is thinking. Mick is sitting right there next to you, John, you don't know what goes through Mick's head, Mick might decide, okay, I'm gonna shoot up the building.
It could happen.
You don't know. You do not know the thoughts and the intentions of no other person. Stop assuming, make these rules and make it apply to every event and every citizen, hands down, regardless of who, what, when, or where.
One thing,
My final thing.
one thing,
And that's
no,
it.
one thing,
What?
right? This request is for after dark.
After,
That's
all
the
of
only thing the
requests-
sheriff, he's not saying
The
anything
entire
else.
block, the entire form for street
We're
closure
talking about
was for
for all.
daytime or nighttime.
Yeah.
This just happened to be a nighttime affair. They've had some during the daytime. They've had gatherings during the daytime. We've had millions of events at night. Nothing has ever happened. In 27 years, we've been doing May Day. We've never had an incident at May Day. And to clarify the rumors of White Spring, the sheriff department, if you paid attention in May, had to go make a public statement. And there were thousands and thousands of people, not just a few hundred that was here 2 weeks ago. May Day has thousands and thousands of people here. And you've never had an incident, no fighting, no shooting, anything, dealing with that event. So when you make these rules, and I'm gonna reiterate and I'm gonna say it every time because it seems like sometimes you're only adamant about stuff that happens in certain areas.
Now, you know
And
that he has security, everyone.
who?
The Brazils.
They work for the sheriff's department, there's no difference. They have to get, they volunteer or they wear sheriff's uniform. They don't have private security. And the rules stated,
So you're
the
saying he
rules
can't have
state,
them?
hold on, Cheryl, the rules stated in the original, if you can find it, it says that anything over 50 people, you're supposed to have your own security. Or you are supposed to hire an off-duty officer for every 50 people.
No, this is gonna be guidelines regardless of alcohol. It could be increased for alcohol. I have some guidelines in here that you guys would have to.
Right, but I'm
figure out
just
how you wanna
saying,
do
it was just,
But there will be guidelines.
when that came about, I was on the council back in 2022, when we came up with that rule. It was either 2020 or 2022, when we came up with that rule, because people wanted to start renting the softball field, Bailey Ogden Field, and that's when we came up with that. When we allowed alcohol, that was to be at the community center, that you can have alcohol there. There were certain rules for certain things, but each rule applied. If it's 50 people, up to 50 people, you have to have one off-duty officer or security.
So are you?
Nobody has done that. Whether it's on this side of town or this side of town, no one has done that. The sheriff's office has always been the one that has been prevalent and present in each situation.
So are you
Let me
saying
ask
that
So
you a
you
question.
can't, because you don't know the intentions of anybody, you can't just sit there and say, oh, this group is gonna do this. It has never happened here before at a block party. So this is something that has happened for the first time, and I pray to God it's the only time. But you're gonna give people their props where it's due, because those guys have been keeping it down in that area. And just to make it sure, it was over. The block party had been over for about 10, 15 minutes when that happened. People were going back to their cars when this incident happened. So that's just like when the street, when the street sale slows down, somebody comes through shooting. What can you do? What's gonna be said then? We can't have this no more. We can't do this. We can't do that. You never know a person's intention. You just pray things are gonna go the right way. We have a form now. Make sure everybody turns in their form on time. Because nobody's been turning them in 10 days ahead. So while you're concentrating on one group that didn't have it done 10 days ahead, Swanee Hardware doesn't turn theirs in 10 business days ahead either. So let's get it together, let's come together and be on one accord and make the rules stand for everybody here, not just one group. Because that's what I keep hearing in so many terms, that you're all concentrating on that block party, but there's other things that go on here too. When Swanee Bicycle Association is here, they have more than 50 people. where's police security, this, that, and the other. Come on. Every rule applies to everybody. We've all been letting things go because we've never had an issue
Okay.
before.
We're gonna-
Now we've had this issue, it's time to correct it
Okay.
and to go in.
Okay.
Don't do that because
Let me just
I'm
say
getting
one
tired
more
of that.
statement.
I understand how you feel.
No, you really don't. None of y'all understand how I feel because he didn't die in your yard. He died in mine.
But
And I know it was nothing that couldn't have been done because they didn't give a darn that the police was from this door to that door away from the shooting. When people don't care, they don't care. That's why you have all these mass shootings, school shootings, and all of this stuff. If it was something that can be avoided, it would have been avoided.
Exactly.
Just to be well, let me make, all of this is gonna be discussed with the council and the sheriff's department, along with her form and everything, so that we're all in agreement with it before it goes into effect. But for the time being, none of the so-called nighttime.
Right, and I agree with that. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Work it out the way.
But it's just that the way things keep coming up,
Well,
it's only concentrating on
I understand.
the night activity on Mill Street and not the entire everything.
Well,
You
yeah.
got 2 or 3.
So, because even they've had night.
May I clarify just for the sake of Whitfield's, the Brown Brothers Productions Group, anytime that we've had an event here in White Springs, we provided, private security. And they were licensed and insured, so I just wanted to clarify that for the sake of the statement that nobody.
Yeah. Okay. Joe?
Yes, Lee, when you had your discussion with the sheriff, right, and from what I gather, from what I'm reading here, again, right, he's talking, the sheriff was talking specifically about nighttime events, correct?
Nighttime events, you have to, but we're going to continue this conversation so that we're all on the same page.
I agree.
And we'll take this form she's working on, work through him. We will, I'm sure we'll have a joint meeting with the sheriff's department and council, work session or something, and it'll be flushed.
Will we be discussing who qualifies as the extra security and whether or not?
That'll be, and also the determination, definition of what is a block party.
Right, and that's, I think, it's a really important point, because as the young lady here stated, that she had like legitimate professional people present. It's not like you just go and say, hey, you know, put this shirt on, security, you know, and now you're my hired security. That it's gotta be responsible and legitimate.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not only that, Whitfield was required to have security to the extent of well over the amount of security at that event. Whitfield was required to provide the council with insurance well over the $1 million insurance policy that was asked. We provided $3 million insurance. And I think that's a real serious problem you guys need to address.
That's gonna be in here, that insurance will be required. The minimum, $1 million for all events, and alcohol insurance which is additional if there's gonna be alcohol served or consumed.
And will the fact of notarization be addressed?
No, so having the application notarized is not a common thing amongst the applications that I looked at. So a lot of people do like this digital signatures online with an online application. So I did try to check and see, you know, they're of course signing off that they're, you know, certifying that this information is correct. But whether that's notarized or not notarized, they're still certifying that the information is correct, if they didn't tell the truth.
The notary doesn't know they told the truth either.
But I did check, and a lot of the applications in other cities didn't have a notary on it, that wasn't standard, and it's not required.
Thank you.
Even when you were saying about the insurance and the alcohol, when you do a special event insurance, it's got that question in there.
Yeah.
Whether alcohol would be, and you have to check out whether it would be sold or cooled or whatever there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that would be in the application that you have have to bill out for the insurance anyway.
Okay, are we ready to finish our motion? What was the motion?
We already voted.
Yeah, there's nothing that we were voting on here.
I thought you asked for a close to the one.
Oh, I did, I'm sorry, we did. It's ready for a vote, I just had a question. And you read it the correct way.
60.
No, I thought you guys already voted on it.
No, when I said any discussion, she said yes, discussion.
What are we voting on?
You already voted on
You already voted.
Yeah, I thought you voted, because I don't think I would have interrupted in the middle of the vote.
like the local sunset,
Yep.
sunset time, and John Roberts motion.
Yeah.
Might as well just bring it to a vote again, man.
Yeah, redo,
We
fine.
did vote on it.
You
We
did,
voted, we voted. I really think we did, so
you did vote for that.
it was for them. Everybody.
Well, the minutes will say if we did or not.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, all right, let's go to E.
you.
Declare the 3 vehicles, surplus to the, needs of the town of White Springs. Town manager.
Well, we would have the sheriff, the cars we had at the sheriff department, we got them back. There's a 216 Dodge Chargers, and the 218 that came back. The 218 is in much better shape, less mileage than the one we got donated to us from the Board of Education when I got here. So we sell the 2 Dodgers and the 1 2009 Crown Vic, seal bids, cash or certified funds only, no checks.
Are these antiques?
Huh? No. But then they'll be posted and we'll get it out and it'll be sealed bids and I'll determine how far we go out to 20 days or 30 days and how bids have to be in, we'll open them. And it may be at the beginning of next February week. So that's three vehicles and we'll have them parked out here. Sold as is, no warranty and all that.
So are you accepting bids? Is that how this happens?
The seal quotes or they'll be, not seal bids like you told. They will have to be in a seal envelope addressed as a bid for car 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, and how are we advertising these?
We will advertise it, there's a standard format for advertising vehicles through government, local government. I can give you a copy.
Okay, I'm curious.
There's a standard format for advertising and tell the nomenclature of it.
So how would the common public know about it?
We'll put it in the Riverwind News and we'll put it on the website. And I'll try to get it at the hardware store, library, like we do here. And I'm sorry, I apologize, that was only one time, but I don't know how it got off, but what you were talking.
Is there,
Take a look, because you're thinking about the procurement policy.
I'm thinking just from a general, we'll get a lot more money if we like put it on a demand base or we put it on something that's got more reach than just our local stuff.
Oh, you'd be surprised who'll buy these cars. You'd be surprised who likes these cars.
I don't know what they're worth, but you know, an extra couple of $1,000 is pretty nice.
Taking all the police stuff out of them, so they're regular cars except for the holes are where the police stuff came out of them. They're sold as is where at, and that's it. And I'll get that done, just be early next week.
Okay.
Okay, and then, that's, and next thing we're gonna work with.
Okay, F.
Oh, shoot, y'all vote 4-0 on that, I thought I heard you. 4-0 seal bids.
Oh, you got to vote on the,
That's clearance service.
I make a motion.
Doesn't the charter say that's part of your job description?
Yeah, but anything that's got a value of $500 or more, you're supposed to vote on, for fixed assets.
I make a motion that we approve of the town manager to sell at auction by sale bid the 3 old police vehicles surplus.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, has a motion and second that, we we get a, town manager permission to sell the 3 vehicles. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried, ayes have it.
You have to do all.
I have, so I drafted, I guess, a report that I will read. Fortunately, it's like 7 pages long, so I apologize in advance. This is regarding the independence issue for previous auditor. Here's 4 extra copies if somebody would like to read it.
Yes, sir.
You want one to read?
Thank you.
Independence Issue Overview. On October 11, 2021, Richard C. Powell of Powell & Jones executed an engagement letter with the town of White Springs, Florida to become the town's auditor. Beginning in August of 2022 and ending in November 2022, Caleb Curlow created Reliance CPAs, registered a fictitious name for Powell & Jones, and purchased Mr. Powell's audit practice, including the name, client list, contracts, equipment, and employee agreements. On February 16, 2023, Powell & Jones CPA registered the fictitious name Powell Consulting and contracted with the town of White Springs on July 27, 2023 to become the town's financial consultant. In September 2023, the town extended Powell & Jones auditing services for another 3 years without the use of an auditor selection committee. Within a year, Powell & Jones CPA sold its name and auditing practice to former employees, rebranded to Powell Consulting, became the town's financial consultant, and extended the auditing practices of its previous auditing practice for 3 years. Furthermore, Mr. Powell remained on the Powell & Jones website as a consultant until recently, while using a Powell & Jones email address. The 2 firms share the same office building owned by Powell Consulting. Florida Statutes 218.39 governs the process for selecting auditors for political subdivisions, including municipalities like White Springs. The statute requires that an independent certified public accountant perform the audit. The Government Auditing Standards 2018 revision defines objectivity as independence of mind and appearance. Due to the similarities between the auditor and accountant, the audit committee questioned the auditor's appearance of independence. As part of our due diligence, the audit committee researched this independence issue. This document provides an overview of that research as well as a recommendation to the town of White Springs regarding our findings. Research overview. When talking to the Auditor General about the operational audit, Councilman Gamsby brought up the issue of independence as a reform that was out of scope of the operational audit and provided the general contact information for the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee, JLAC. JLAC provided the following response regarding independence. The independence technical standards for certified public accountants, CPA, and CPA firms in Florida are set forth in section 473-315 Florida statutes and chapters 61H1-21 Florida Administrative Code. Any questions or concerns relating to the independence appearance of independence of a CPA or CPA firm would need to be addressed to the Florida Board of Accountancy. If there are any concerns relating to the independence of the work, or the independence or the work of a licensed CPA firm, such concerns should be directed to the Florida Board of Accountancy Board pursuant to Chapter 473 Florida statutes. The board was created in the Department of Business and Professional Regulation to regulate the practice of public accounting and adopt rules to implement the provisions of law, including rules relating to competence and technical standards and discipline. Such rules, including references to rules of the Auditor General. Every CPA and CPA firm in the state is governed and controlled by this law and these rules. Neither the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee nor the Audit General's Office have the jurisdiction or authority to review concerns related to the independence of a CPA or a CPA firm, or comment on the professional judgment applied by a CPA firm. The relevant section of Chapter 473, so this is back to me again. The relevant section of Chapter 473-315 states, Quote, 1, a certified public accountant shall not express an opinion on the financial statements of an enterprise unless she or he and her or his firm are independent with respect to such enterprise. End quote. The relevant section of Chapter 61 H1-21 Florida Administrative Code reads, begin quote, 1, pursuant to Section 473.315 Florida statutes, standards of practice are established for independence in a certified public accountant, CPA. In public practice is required to be independent in fact and appearance when providing services under Section 473.302(8)A Florida statutes, namely expressing opinions on financial statements referred to herein as attest services. 2, independence permits a CPA to perform an attest service without being affected by influences that compromise professional judgment or materially impair the CPA's ability to act with integrity and exercise objectivity and professional skepticism. The CPA shall determine whether those influences, when present, create such a threat that would cause the CPA not to act with integrity and exercise objectivity and professional skepticism. The CPA shall not perform an attest service where independence is prepared as described in this rule. End quote. The Auditor General provided a document entitled Division of Certified Public Accounting Enforcement Compliant Process that outlines the process for filing a complaint to the Florida Board of Accountancy. Chapter 61 H21-21 allows CPAs to self-regulate by using their professional judgment to determine if there is a breach of independence. Caleb Perla has stated on public record during recorded sessions that his audit practice, Powell & Jones, was independent of Richard Powell, the town's accountant. Mr. Powell submitted a signed attestation stating that his accountancy was independent from the auditor, Powell & Jones. In the course of its due diligence, the audit committee researched how to establish the legal definition of independence so it could conclude whether the auditor met the applicable standards. During this process, the committee learned a peer review and sought more information on whether or not it could be used to establish independence. The chairman emailed the Florida Institute of Certified Public Accountants for more information and received a reply, begin quote. The peer review process is only for firms that are to be peer reviewed. It does not involve any interpretation of ethical standards. I would suggest that you contact the AICPA Ethics Hotline for an opinion, end quote. The Florida Institute of Certified Public Accountants provided contact information for the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, AICPA, Ethics Hotline, as well as an article with information on the contact process. An email was sent to the AICPA Ethics Hotline requesting information on how to start a process for an evaluation on independence. The AICPA response stated, begin quote, a firm is permitted to use a retired partner's name in the firm name per ET section 1.820.010 of the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct. However, based on the information you provided regarding Mr. Powell's subsequent employment with the town and Mr. Powell's consulting role with his previous firm, you should review the following interpretations in the code to determine if independence was impaired for any of the prior audits or the current one. After reviewing the interpretations, let us know if you have any follow-up questions. 1.279.020 subsequent employment or association attest client. If you determine that independence in fact is not impaired, you may still believe there is a potential issue related to independence in appearance. You may consult the conceptual framework for independence interpretation, ET section 1.210.010. Keep in mind that the reasonable third-party standard applies to third parties who are aware of all the facts and circumstances. End quote. Section 1.279.020 provides substantial guidance on the independence concerning employment of former partners with attest clients. Begin quote. 1.279.020 subsequent employment or association with an attest client. 01. This interpretation applies to partners and professional employees who leave their firms and are subsequently employed by or associated with one of the firm's attest clients in a key position. 2. The familiarity, self-interest, undue influence, or management participation threats for the member's compliance with the independence rule 1.200.001 would not be at an acceptable level and independence would be impaired unless all of the safeguards in items A through E of the following list are met. Individual safeguards. A. Amounts due to the former partner or professional employee for his or her previous interests in the firm and unfunded vested retirement benefits cannot be materialized to the firm. And the underlying formula used to calculate the payments remain fixed during the payout period. The firm may adjust the retirement benefits for inflation and pay interest on amounts due. The former partner or professional employee is not in a position of influence the firm's operations or financial policies. The former partner or professional employee does not participate or appear to participate in the firm's business and is not otherwise associated with the firm, regardless of whether he or she is compensated for such participation or association. Once employment or association with the attest client begins, for example, the individual would appear to participate in or be associated with the firm if I, the individual provides consultation to the firm, II, the firm provides the individual with an office and related amenities such as administrative and technology services, III, the individual's name is included in the firm's office directory, or IV, the individual is identified as a member of the firm in the members list of business, professional, or civic organization unless the member is clearly designated as retired. End quote. The town's accountant divested his interest in the auditing practice of his firm, but started working as the town's accountant, making the condition of Section 1 relevant, requiring the implementation of safeguards. The audit committee did not investigate or know the status of the first safeguard, 1.279.020.02a. Mr. Powell's position gave him control over the accounting system of record, which would be considered a position of influence per Section 1.279.020.02b. Mr. Powell was, until recently, listed on Powell & Jones' website as a consultant. Mr. Powell used an email address for his previous company's domain name. Powell Consulting rents office space to Powell & Jones through a commercial lease, and the business operates in close physical proximity. For these reasons, the audit committee does not believe sufficient safeguards were in place for Section 1.279.020.02. The conceptual framework for independence interpretation, ET Section 1.210.010, provides information on how to establish what threats exist towards independence and how to interpret them. According to the framework, independence in appearance is the avoidance of circumstances that would cause a reasonable and informed third party who has knowledge of all relevant information, including the safeguards applied, to reasonably conclude the integrity, objectivity, or professional skepticism of a firm or member of the attest engagement team is compromised. The framework goes to outline the 7 most common threats to independence. The audit committee has identified 2 of these threats relevant to understanding independence: familiarity threat and management participation threat. The threats outlined by the AICPA were also found within the governmental auditing standards of the Comptroller General of the United States. Sections 3.26-3.44 provides insights into the different types of threats, including overviews of the 2 relevant. Begin quote. 3.30D, familiarity threat. The threat that aspects of a relationship with management or personnel of an audited entity, such as a close or long relationship, or that of an immediate or close family member, will lead an auditor to take a position that is not objective. 3.30F, management participation threat. The threat that results from an auditor taking on the role of management or otherwise performing management functions on behalf of the audited entity, which leads an auditor to take a position that is not objective. End quote. The AICPA also recommended that we reach out to the GAO Technical Assistance Hotline, Yellow Book, since the question relates to governmental audit entities. A letter was emailed to the GAO Technical Assistance Hotline, including a timeline of events and an overview of our concerns. Yellow Book provided the following response to the audit committee's request for guidance. Begin quote. Thank you for your inquiry regarding potential familiarity and management participation threats to independence under GAGAS. Per paragraph 3.18, in all matters relating to the GAGAS engagement, auditors and audit organizations must be independent from an audited entity. In addition, per paragraph 3.19, auditors and audit organizations should avoid situations that could lead reasonable and informed third parties to conclude that the auditors and audit organizations are not independent and thus are not capable of exercising objective and impartial judgment on all issues associated with conducting the engagement and reporting on work. The Yellow Book requires auditors to maintain independence both in fact and appearance, and to identify, evaluate, and apply safeguards to eliminate or reduce threats to an acceptable level prior to performing an audit or a test engagement. Under paragraph 3.30a, a familiarity threat may arise when, due to a close or long-standing relationship with an audited entity or its personnel, which will lead to an mistaken original, to take a position that is not objective. Additionally, under paragraph 3.30f, a management participation threat occurs when auditors assume management responsibilities or otherwise performing management functions on behalf of the audited entity, which will lead an auditor to take a position that is not objective. GAGAS clearly states that auditors must not perform management responsibilities for the audited entity, as such actions would impair independence. The determination of whether a familiarity or management participation threat exists and whether any safeguards are sufficient to reduce the threat to an acceptable level requires professional judgment based on the specific facts and circumstances. This evaluation is the responsibility of the audit organization and engagement leadership. GAO cannot provide an opinion or determination on whether independence has been impaired in this manner. Providing an opinion on this matter is outside the scope of GAGAS's technical assistant team role. Technical assistance, another spelling mistake, is limited to explaining GAGAS requirements and applicable guidance. Audit organizations are encouraged to document their independence assessments, including the identification of threats, consideration of safeguards, and conclusions reached in accordance with the documentation requirements in GAGS. In addition, we suggest that consideration should be given in contacting either the AICPA Ethics Division, Florida Society of CPAs, and or the Florida Regulator of CPAs for additional guidance on this matter. End quote. Conclusion. None of the contacted organizations would provide the audit committee with a determination of independence. With no more avenues of consideration available, the audit committee met on January 5th, 2026 to discuss next steps. The audit committee believes there is sufficient cause for reasonable, informed, independent third parties to conclude that there is a threat to independence. The circumstances outlined above create a possible familiarity threat and management participation threat. The familiarity threat comes from the accountant's long-standing business association with the auditor. The management participation threat comes from the previous principal of the auditor working within a key accounting position within the town of White Springs. At the conclusion of discussions, the audit committee voted unanimously to recommend the town file a complaint with the Florida Board of Accountancy. The Board of Accountancy will have the practical knowledge to apply the standards, investigate, analyze safeguards, and talk to witnesses. With access to more and better information, the Board of Accountancy will be able to determine the impact on appearance of independence. They will also be able to provide what legal steps, if any, are required to bring our audits back into compliance. That is the end of my report. So I would like the town council to make a motion to allow Leslie to submit a complaint to the Florida Board of Accountancy.
Can you clarify in your motion who exactly the entities are and individuals that would be listed in the complaint?
So
So Powell and Jones, CPA.
It's on page 1,
we need
first couple of paragraphs.
Alan Jones, CPA, and Powell Consulting. We don't need to call out the individual members of this, do we?
Yes.
We do?
Because the
It's a
individual
big
members
number.
are actually the ones
Neither of these are big
licensed
numbers.
by, I think. I think it's probably gonna have to be the CPAs.
So
Because
do
those
we
are the ones
need
regulated.
Reliant CPA? doing business as Powell and Jones. Lion CPAs,
CPAs, PA, DBA, Powell.
Lion CPAs doing business as Powell and Jones, Powell and Jones. CPA doing, oh yeah. No, it's Powell and Jones CPA doing business as Powell Consulting. Caleb Perla, Richard Powell.
Got it.
So, let me ask this question. You're saying that the people that works in Mr. Powell's office in the far back is connected to Mr. Powell?
I'm saying that Mr. Powell has a familiarity threat. It means that he has a very long-standing business relationship with Powell Consulting. And also, when he divested his interest, he didn't do all of the things he should have done, like not work in the same office building, leasing office space to Reliant. He should have changed his email. They should have not had him on the website. He should have just 100% totally tore the businesses apart instead of doing it like 70% or whatever you would say. He did.
Didn't we talk to Mr. Powell about that?
Should not have.
Yeah, they still question, they got questions about it, but,
Cause I'm not sure, he told us that something, they was trying to get all that cleared away, but it was taking some time to do it.
The time to do that would have been long before auditing the account. 'Cause so this is a claim of appearance. So I am not accusing him of cooking the books or committing fraud or doing anything like that. This is a matter of a reasonable person who knows all the facts could raise his hand and say, hey, this doesn't look good. This looks like a conflict of interest. And the point of doing the Board of Accountancy is to get the professionals to come in and make a determination if that is the case or if we're the ones who are wrong.
I thought he came in here and he addressed that to us in a meeting.
Well, it doesn't
If I'm
matter
not
what he's saying,
mistaken.
this is the,
yeah, but he since they've moved out of the building or something, but this is talking about stuff 4 or 5 years ago.
this is probably not stuff in
This is
twenty
effective
twenty-three.
Sarbanes-Oxley Act is what this is all about. It's 2002 is an end result of Arthur Anderson and the other top accounting firms where they were doing the accounting and the auditing within house. Enron is an example that some of you may be familiar with, where they were presenting the books on one side and offering investment advice and then doing the auditing. So there was that conflict of interest, which created a lot of problems within the American economy and retirement funds and other investments. Energy prices were an example, one of the fallouts. So this verbiage and all that you read in the 7 pages is all of the conversation that's come out of that, is how do we avoid that in the future? And that's by what you just described in those 7 pages.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that the town file a complaint with the Florida Board of Accountancy.
Let me make the motion.
Oh, good.
Well, we'll make the motion, we'll second, and we can go
Probably
to debate.
make it as a recommendation from the audit committee,
Yeah.
since that's how it came in.
And you all be the ones sending the
And it would
letter.
be for the council to, accept or not accept the recommendation of the audit.
So when all this dust settles, you're gonna be the one who's going to be doing this, correct?
Apparently so. Well,
Surprise!
Surprise! Yeah, I added on to everything else.
No, it's a complaint.
This would be from 2 to 3
You know,
years.
we can say
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's like, to not use too much of an analogy, but it's like calling cops. That's basically what it is. I move that the town council accept the audit committee's recommendation that the town file a complaint for Reliance CPAs doing business as Powell & Jones CPAs, Powell & Jones CPA doing business as Powell Consulting, Caleb Perla, and Richard C. Powell with the Florida Board of Accountancy to investigate an issue of appearance of independence.
You got all that, Denise?
I second.
Okay, here's the motion and second that, we give the.
That we approve the recommendation.
That we approve the recommendation from the audit committee. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I oppose.
Why?
Why?
Should I have to say?
Well, I mean, no shit doesn't have to say, but
No, I have a question.
Okay, so.
I wanna, wait, so,
So what, been 2 years, 2 yeses?
2 yeses.
Oh, well, I didn't vote because I had a question, but Tanja had moved a little fast when she said it, so I couldn't ask her the question I wanted to ask. Okay, so you said it's not gonna be, it's just like the police doing an investigation, correct?
The detective.
Correct.
Okay, now my next question would be, if they found, if there were some findings to this, what position would that put us in all of these audits and things that we just had to get done?
No, that's.
It
Good
could
question.
run the
Good
gambit from nothing to some sort of review process where they're going to ask a third party to come in and evaluate it and make sure everything is good, to completely redoing it. And
Yeah.
Which would be a burden back on us?
No,
Yeah, but
it
it's
should
the
be
right
on
thing to
their
do.
insurance.
Yeah.
My personal position, that is based only on my wishful thinking and not legal standing, is that Powell & Jones and Powell Consulting were the professionals in the room advising the town. They're the ones who probably said, yeah, this is good, you can trust this. And they should be the ones who pay for it. That is what I think. Whether or not the Board of Accountancy agrees with me or not is another issue. But
Scott Gate's been ringing the alarm bell for years on this. He's been raising this issue for literally since this whole thing started.
what
Yeah.
happens is.
yeah, he could have just followed.
He's a CPA. I mean, so he is a CPA. He raised the alarm bells years ago.
Leslie, what you were saying?
If our audits were not independent audits, then it would basically invalidate all the audits. We would have to notify the Auditor General, we would have to notify all of the agencies that have provided us grants. And it could affect all the grants, and all of the audits would have to be redone.
But it would also give us a clear picture of where we really stand, right?
Can you repeat that again, please, so I can make sure, let me make sure I'm hearing correctly.
If the audits were not independent, the statute requires independent audits. So if they were not independent, if there's a determination that they're not independent, then we have to notify the Auditor General that we have not provided independent audits for that period of time. And anybody who we have grants with, we would have to notify them as well that we do not have independent audits for those years. And then those audits would need to be redone. Of course, we can make a claim for that cost to be covered by the auditors. And as well as we're gonna need somebody, they're gonna have to cover somebody to pull these years and years of documents as well. And yes, they can get compensated for it, but somebody's gonna have to pull all those records if the audits need to be redone.
So what position would that put us in as far as with the grants and future grants? Is it going to,
It could,
Overall.
and probably will affect any grants. What do you think, Mr. Gardner? Like,
You probably would, but
I think there'll be a question.
I think the report we got from the Auditor General and J-Lac, there's some things in the back, but I think they pretty well give us a pretty good bill of health. They consider the auditors independent.
Unless-
So, is this something that maybe we can, I don't know, I don't wanna mess up any of our grants that we have going on,
That's,
future grants or whatever.
yeah.
Now, do I feel like something needs to be done about this? Yeah, but it's like I don't know, it seems like it's a catch-22, we're gonna be damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Well,
But,
what's that phrase, the right thing is very
but
rarely
if we
easy.
have,
Yep,
we have a
that's
new
right.
audit coming up, and we have new auditors. So if there is something that they see, then, I don't know, I don't know, I just don't wanna mess up what we already got, because we're barely hanging on by a thread now. And without the grants and things that we have, we're gonna be in more financial trouble than what we already are. At least how I'm looking at it, I don't know, I'm not
That
another
was
person,
my
but-
thing.
Doesn't matter, Scott Gay's been raising this for years, this issue for years. And nobody listened to him. If we would've started years ago on this problem, we wouldn't be where we are today, trying to
We
go.
wasn't here years ago, but then at the same time.
He was here when they were here.
We had to have, some of the audits that we did was from one of his friends in Jasper that refused to turn his audit in, Ken Daniels. And then when Helen Miller and Tom Moore left, the auditor that Tom Moore had recommended to us, I can't remember the name, oh God, it starts with an S. They all refused to do their audits, which is why they ended, not we, because I didn't come about, but this is why they had to end up getting Mr. Powell, well, not Mr. Powell, but Powell and Jones to come in and do these to make up for the ones that we paid these other companies to do that they did not do. Because of their friendships with other members that was on the council that left the council for whatever reason.
Yes, but what we're talking about right now is this very specific time period, with this very specific
From 2023, correct?
accounting firm. We go back to 2021, and so
Well,
that's what.
2021, he wasn't our accountant. 2021, we had, it was either Ken Daniels or.
The first line, the first line of the audit report.
Ken Daniels was accountant.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
But like you said,
I just
Robert-
spent the last 6 months looking for a reason to not have to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I've done every hole I could find for somebody to tell me we didn't have to do it.
Yeah,
No, I get that, and I'm not knocking that, and you did a wonderful job. It's just that I'm asking about, like, what consequences the town is
Doesn't
gonna
matter.
have to face.
it doesn't matter, we have to clean up. All
I
right.
don't wanna mess up the grants that we are.
It doesn't matter, we gotta clean it, we gotta
It
clean the
matters
house.
to
All
me.
right, but one thing.
It matters to me,
Hold on.
Move out of your way.
cause I don't wanna mess up what Mr. Gardner have already done for us.
If the right thing to do is the hard thing to do, it doesn't make it the wrong thing to do. You know, like, it is what it is, and like I say, Scott Gay, I was here for the last years with Scott coming up here and saying these very things, and saying, look, this is a problem. And so, granted, here we are today, a few years later, but the fact was, it wasn't like anybody on the council, of which I think we have some people present, that this is the first time that this point has been raised. It is what it is, like, let's just fix it. Let's clean this town up, let's get things squared away, let's get real numbers, let's find out where our money went, and let's move forward. But we've gotta address these issues. We just have to. How do you tell your kids, hey, look, you know what? If nobody catches you, it's okay.
But I do want to clarify, there's no question of money going somewhere.
We don't
Just to be
know.
clear.
We don't know.
We don't know that.
Well, what we do know is that it's if you have a question of whether money has gone somewhere, that's probably the way to say it, other than saying that money has gone somewhere, because we
Fair
don't
enough.
have any proof of that. And
No,
that, if money's gone somewhere, that would imply somebody took it.
Then let's find the proof. So we'll go get a clean audit, we'll go back, and we'll dig through it all, we'll set it straight, and then we know, and no
So
one
we
can
wouldn't
ever
have to
say.
pay for the new audits, correct?
We would have to make a claim with their carrier for errors and omissions, for them to then cover the costs.
But but they may or may
We'll have
not.
to have more than we've got here
Huh?
for that to occur, I'm sure.
But
You got what now? I didn't
here's
hear
the thing, the grants that you're talking about, what about future grants? If they find out that our audits could have been jeopardized because of this familiarity problem, and the audits could be fraudulent or not, that question, they're gonna say, why would we give money to a town that is not
Didn't address the
totally
grants.
above the board? We
Scott?
need to be totally transparent.
Scott Gay is on the record on multiple occasions where he is a CPA, has said that he would offer voluntarily for free to help this town get things cleaned up. And never once was he taken up on it. For free, he said he would do it. Offer his professional services. If for nothing else, to get a look at it and to say, yeah, I think there may be a little bit something more there. But this town refused it. You can go look back at the meetings have been recorded. It's not me just saying this because I'm looking to be argumentative, very frustrated. We just gotta do the right thing. At this point, we gotta do the right thing. Whatever happened before with Tom and with Helen and the others out there, man, that's just not even part of our watch right now. This is the document that y'all put together. This is the part we're addressing.
What did the auditor, Jim, what did they, when we did all the findings and everything that we had to go through and
Exactly what I was.
I've talked to them on the phone, I've talked to, what's his name, Wes, he said he won't comment, we emailed them, they won't comment, AI, CPA won't comment, Yellow Book won't comment.
They're not.
Our,
Nobody's gonna comment. The only
Right.
options now are basically to submit a complaint or not.
The Auditor General is aware of the issues and simply states that they don't look at independence. They don't evaluate independence, but they're aware of the issues.
But there are ways to look at the independence, and that's what he's recommending as a committee.
It's somewhat ironic, but the best case scenario for us is they come back and they say, you guys are making a mountain out of a molehill, it's not that big of a deal. And then we're totally clean and all the people who keep complaining to us about this issue will stop. And then when they don't, we'll say, we did everything.
Perfect.
I spent 6 months looking into this, we called the regulators said you guys are crazy, and it's done. That,
Yeah.
and unless they find some really, really horrific instances of fraud, I would be shocked to see it coming to us having to redo audits.
yes.
I think the town, if you have an audit that's going to be starting very shortly, if they find problems and you said, oh, we had no idea about them, or we were told, but we decided not, we wanted to just put it under the rug, oh, you're going to look bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to look real bad. So doing this covers your reputation to say, yes, we want to know whether there was a problem.
If there is any problem.
If the board says, yeah, this was a problem, but we think it's okay, and then they find, oh, yeah, there's some real discrepancies in your books. You said, well, we did everything we should. So you at least are covering your tracks. But if you say, oh yeah, we heard that there were problems, but we decided to just not ignore them because we don't want a bad record. And then they say, oh, you have a bad record. Your record is then that you were colluding with this problem.
Lee, what you think?
I honestly believe we should take the report we got from the Auditor General and Daylight, the way we got it. They didn't find us wrong with anything. They pointed out some things and we worked them. And let's have the audit coming up. If there's anything that they determine, or they're a big national firm, one of the better ones as I know of in the country, and we've got all this documentation, it's not gonna go anywhere, because it's already, the statute of limitations is already in the work. So I believe we just let the new auditor look at it. They know about it, they know about this report and so forth. They've had a chance to look at it, and I'm sure they'll look at it some more. And let's see what goes from there.
So you say we got a new auditing firm?
The new auditor coming in, starting the.
And no relation to Powell?
Right.
Correct.
No.
Not even in the slightest bit?
They'll pass the.
Or can
Research
they?
should have been taken.
But I don't think that Auditor General.
He's got a good idea.
But what Auditor General has already done, all the money's been spent, so I think, just, the money, whatever money's gone is gone, if there's any, if there was any money. And I don't think, from what I've seen, there's money gone.
When is this gonna happen, the new audit?
This year.
Huh?
When is the audit gonna happen?
As soon as the MSA is signed, which
We got
Have
back
we
a
been watching
copy
the videos?
yesterday.
We got
they sent back a note, so it's apparently going through multiple levels of approval at CRI. They approved it at the local level, and now they're sending it to the national level. So, soon, at the speed of 4 lawyers, which is not very fast in my
Sorry,
experience.
I'm not a corporate lawyer,
If
technically.
we didn't have the other information, I'd say go with it. But we've got all that information that people spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars doing this last 2 years, or however much it was. We got all that, it's there, it's here.
The problem, Lee, is that JLAC is not gonna find something they're not looking for.
Yep.
So the fact that it's not on the report, they're not gonna start looking at the tiny little
Right.
P's and Q things like this.
Yeah.
So,
They were looking
And-
for.
So why don't you choose
Yes, yes, sir,
KPG?
this is-
there's way too much talking and I can't.
And just as a profession, I had a $750,000 investment. I followed it in one of my cities in Atlanta. And you think we could find one accounting firm, one CPA firm that would come in and do an investigation to, because we knew he was guilty, knew what he did. But to get somebody to come in, peer review, peer, they wouldn't do it. We tried and tried and tried.
Yeah, that's the problem I ran
And
into.
that's what
Nobody
you
wanted to
do
put their,
That's what
nobody
you
wanted to put their neck out there and say, yeah, no, this is fine, or yeah, no, guilty. They just say, no, we don't do it. And that's why we're down to our last option, which is to bring it to the Board of Accountancy and let them make the determination.
And so we did look at the possibility of doing a peer review, having an independent person come in and review the audits to see if there was anything wrong with the audits. And I think we had contacted a certain agency and they couldn't do it through the agency, but I'm not, there's so many different parts of all these different groups. It's hard to keep track of all the places that we contacted.
I'll find it in a second.
Yeah, it's a lot. We've
This was
contacted everybody.
FICPA, Florida Institute of Certified Public Accountants, were the ones I asked about peer review, which he said only the CPAs initiate peer reviews, basically. So,
But, you know, I feel let's get that new audit done, and if there's something there, go back and work it out.
Powell would have to.
yeah, so Powell would have to want to do peer
So
review.
can you ask him to?
I don't know if this would have any real legal bearing on quality of our audits, if we did, but I don't know. What if we asked Powell to run it?
To
What if we
investigate
asked
himself?
No,
You have
to
a
initiate
peer
the peer
comment.
review that you were saying.
I guess it would be pro.
And one of the hardest parts about this is, I'm sure JLAC knows about this issue. I'm positive, absolutely, the Auditor General knows about this issue.
Is it
And
subjective or objective?
And they've just been like,
It's worse,
we're just doing our job and everything's fine with us. And that's the part that's been kind of like, you're the Auditor General, you're JLAC, and we're telling you we've got this issue, and you're telling us not our problem. You know, that's just kind of like, you know, those are the regulatory people, and they're just like, we're not dealing with that.
So where are we standing on this meeting?
There's a motion on the table.
Motion for the,
We have to bring it to a vote. discussion is over.
Yeah.
Anybody have any more questions or anything else to say?
One more question. Okay, this is just the investigation. We're not voting on any actions besides filing the complaint to have them investigate the relationship, correct?
Well, we file the complaint and they do the investigation. Once we file the complaint, what they do with the complaint is a matter of their internal processes. We can't tell them, oh, look at this one thing. If they start chasing after threads, they start chasing after threads. But we would file a complaint and say, here's our issue. This is the evidence that we have. There's a whole, sorry, wrong stuff everywhere. So this document here outlines the process. I don't know if I want to read it. So basically, you file a complaint. Upon receiving the complaint, a case is opened and assigned to an investigator. The investigator interviews witnesses and determines the facts of the case. Complaints found to have legal sufficiency are forwarded to the OGC for review. The OGC prosecuting attorneys present the cases to the board's probable cause panel for consideration. The panel decides if probable cause exists to warrant further administrative action against the licensee. Once probable cause is determined, cases are presented to the full board for final disciplinary action. If probable cause is not found, the case is closed and there is no further action against the licensee. Closed cases are confidential and cannot be discussed with the public or full board. So at any point in this process, they can just shut it down and say, you haven't given us sufficient evidence, we reviewed the evidence you gave us, we don't find an issue, we're not gonna move it on. So that can happen. It's kind of what I want to happen, but that's another story.
Why don't you just talk to Scott before you move forward? Scott has a deeper understanding.
Oh,
We've been working on this as a committee for months now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, before you make your final decision, I'd like to roll this past and just table it for right now, maybe. And
At the last meeting, it was his decision.
so Scott said that we should do this.
Yes.
Well, I'm saying the same conclusion without his input, which is the input because I've been listening to him and talking to him since day one in this whole thing. And he's been very specific, as you know, you've had more conversation, but he's been very specific on specific issues through the years, not just on a general, like, I don't like that these two guys are doing our, our accounting and our auditing. He has like specifics, and you know this.
Yeah, it was at the January
Yeah.
5th meeting where he said, we're moving it on, it needs to be,
Yeah.
how do you put it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Submitted.
Okay, the motion is on the table. Two yeses and one no.
Well, let's vote because we need everybody to vote.
It's up to nine vote.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Okay, okay, yes.
Oh,
I was just asking, question of, you guys sure you wanna open that can of worms without a sufficient, position of these guys having committed, any infraction against the town? I do believe that's gonna create other complications that you might not be prepared to engage in, especially with having gone through the audits in the fashion that you have, and you have already surpassed those things. And if you open that can of worms, whether or not that can create other issues for the town to have to deal with. Expenses wise, what it's gonna cost to get into that can of worms.
What are your
waiting
words?
on you, Vice Mayor.
Price of the town's reputation, what price do you put on that? So if we get a reputation that's sullied, then in the future, as we approach people, investors or people for grants or whatever the thing is, they're like, oh yeah, we heard about you guys. But you do the right thing, and that's, you never lose doing that. It's hard, it can be the hard way to go, but then you never have to remember your story. You just always tell the truth.
So did we already vote?
Yeah, Nikki voted yes.
Did Nikki vote yes?
You vote yes?
She said
Okay,
yes.
motion carried, 3-1.
Yeah.
Because this is just an investigation. It's not taking a legal action right now, so that, I'll let them investigate, but before we go any further, you know, it has to come back to us anyway.
All right,
G, public record.
okay, G, 119 request.
Cheryl?
I would just like to know that when I make a 119 request, what is a reasonable amount of time for it to be fulfilled? And also, as a council person, when I make a 119 request, it's to do due diligence for town stuff, and, I don't think I should be charged.
Okay, so I do think this is something that has to be addressed because, a couple things. When council receives documents, they're not redacted. And if someone did a 119 request, there are definitely things that would be redacted, in order for them to receive them. When 119 requests go in, they're logged in, they're tracked, there's a certain procedure that they're supposed to go through. So I do think it's important for council members to understand, yes, we want you to do your due diligence, but documents that council members receive as council people should not be shared with anybody else. Because if you're sharing it with one person, that person is getting documents, whereas another person has to go through the whole process and pay, and we can have an unequal treatment thing going on.
Can we do mine redacted? I don't care if they're redacted, I just want the information.
Well, by the time that if we're redacting them, then we need to know what you're doing. Like, if you're gonna be sharing those documents with someone,
Not
we have
necessarily.
to, but that's what we don't know, and that's what we would have to know, because we're required to redact some information. So for instance, bank statements. Bank statements, we're not gonna go, if you guys wanted to see a bank statement just as council, we're not gonna go through redacting. If a citizen is gonna see that, we're gonna have to go through and redact account numbers and all kinds of information. And so there needs to be a clear understanding and probably even a policy about what happens if council person's gonna get it and who they can share that with. If it's already publicly available information, then that's fine. But the way that you're gonna get it is not necessarily the same way that an individual citizen is gonna get it.
Okay,
And we don't want, a council person to be seen as a conduit or a workaround for the process. Because let's say someone tells you, hey, Cheryl, get X, Y, and Z, and then you tell us to provide you with X, Y, and you don't provide Z. The person could see you as representing the town, and now we haven't provided it, and now we get sued, because if you don't provide public records requests or fulfill them properly, the town could be sued. And so there's a proper way for us to log these in, make sure they're taken care of, and if we don't want the workaround, because that's how we could end up in trouble. So I think it would need to be where if council wants something and council's eyes are the only eyes that are gonna see it, that's one thing. If council's gonna request documents to provide to a citizen, that's an entirely different process that we need to put in place.
Well, I think if I just make the statement that these are for my eyes.
Then I think that would be fine, and I think that's where council probably needs to make sure there's a policy that we put in place to make sure that documents are handled properly. Because, let's say for instance, we're seeing, like when I did when we had applications, right, for town manager, I didn't redact your copies. You guys got the entire copies. I redacted the one that we put on the website. There were social security numbers. I think we had everything about Lee Garner's whole life on there. And I had to go through and make sure I was, not putting that information out to the public. So the one that was put online was fully redacted, but the ones you guys saw, not redacted at all. And so that's where I think we need to have some better understanding of what happens that comes to council members.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
on the 14th of October, we adopted Town of White Springs, White Springs, Florida, public records policy. And, with all the other stuff, every one of these is creating a different policy and forms. And Leslie has been working her brain off to try to get all this stuff together so that we got checklists for council, what we got to do for council meetings. We're not quite there yet. I think hopefully by the end of February, I think we can have most of this in order and checked off whatever you need. And you asked for, back in June 20, I got it June 23rd, June 25th, you asked for about 3 pages of financial data and all that stuff. Right while we were going through all the records and everything we were doing for the Auditor General. And that's one reason you haven't gotten that. I think 90% of what you asked for is included in these documents, and back it up, and then we talked about council meetings, of what you asked for back then. Maybe some things you want, but, computers, I made a statement that you probably said. It shows on the computer in there, the, QuickBooks for, I think, 2022, and what year it was you were requesting all that stuff. It's showing on there, but there's nothing on the computer. I don't know. When I told you, I said, I don't remember what I said, where I said it might have been showing on the computer, but it's not retrievable. At least we don't have a method to retrieve it. And that was one of the long things you had. And we'll try to find it. I talked to Mr. Powell. But what we need to do is, if you need something, give me, Don Shea is the records custodian and city clerk, but I'll take them too, Tanika will take them during the day when she's in here. But like the 2 you gave me here tonight, that's recent, updated stuff I'll get it for you as soon as I can get to it. I mean, it's all recorded, because most of this was paid for by credit card. Most of this stuff, pull the receipts right off there. That won't be an insurmountable job out here. And I'm hoping that, it goes to you. And,
Now, the documents that I would love to see that each one of us gets
yeah.
on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
I Googled, what do I need to know to tell the financial health of my business? There were 6 documents. I submitted them and have yet to get any, well, I got 2 each month. But you need 2 together, and one of them's not there to give it a full picture. And so,
the bank statements came in last Thursday afternoon. Came in Thursday.
is that the general ledger?
The
I
bank
think I
statements, the bank statements we need to have the bank statements to reconcile before some of the stuff that you've asked for can be assembled by Mr. Powell.
I got a question, Cheryl. Are you not able to get back on First Federal and look at this stuff yourself anymore?
None of us is.
Remember, we
We
voted.
all voted, let me be that.
I know, but it was still like, it wasn't anything we can do on it, but you were able to look at the accounts and see exactly what was coming out, what had came in.
That's what I think we need to know to make good decisions.
But I'm saying, I'm not even being funny when I say this, but even when you were asking these questions, we were able to get online then. That's why I didn't know, cause I really don't go on First Federal to look anymore, but, you know, we
I
were
asked
able,
the questions
the
that I got
question,
off of there.
Uh-huh.
When I was on there, I asked questions, and it was like, I don't know.
But see, the thing is, before, I hadn't even checked, so y'all say we're not able to get on anymore. But before, when we were able to get on, you can pull up just like I can get on ViStar and pull up my checking account and my savings account. I can see every check, ACH payment, whatever is coming out, and it gives you the name of where it's going, who paid it, or what came in.
And that would be perfect.
But I'm just saying,
We're working,
had this
we're working
before.
towards that. Because when she brought us up, I forget whenever, and, he's trying to get it all tied in together so that we can give you exactly what you've asked for. But it takes some time. You'll see the budget has been reduced down a little by merging and getting rid of some of the accountants and all. So, we're trying and anytime you see something, come in, don't be scared, I'm about you. Come in and, talk to me, we can pull it up, whatever we need to do.
It sounds like, from someone who used to train a lot of people on computers and stuff like that, a simple education process here would go a long way in resolving these issues that you folks are having. And it should be as simple as that. Like, for the council, for the town council, you know, they might not have the ability to write a check or, you know, accept a check or whatever. But a view-only account is so simple to install. And you would know who viewed what simply by the password, the name and username and password. This is all an educational process. And that's why I think you need to go.
1,000%. But there's been so much going on here in the last 6 months that takes you away from you see my desk in there, I mean.
No,
Yeah,
don't go for it.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to get as much done as it, but with only 3 of us here,
Yeah, what,
doing everything we have to do.
I mean, the one, you know, the one.
You're volunteering?
The 119.
You're
request.
volunteering, right?
No, I don't know their system. If I knew their system, I would volunteer. But I don't know their system. But if I did, I'd ready to move forward.
But you're claiming you can
And
do all
let me
these
say
things.
this, when you said that you don't feel like, a council member has to pay for a 119 request?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We are treated just like the residents are.
How are we supposed to do our due diligence if we can't get the information without paying for it?
Well, hey, when I was on the council 11 years ago, and if I had come here and asked for, request for a 119, I was treated just like I was a resident, whether I was a councilor or not. Because you have to remember, we are elected officials. We just here.
We just go blind.
So, if you wanna see something, I advise you just come up in here and get with Mr. Garner and just sit down and talk with him. And he'll show it to you. That's what we used to do in the past with all the, town managers. That's not mine.
Okay, we got, we need to do anything else on 119? We've got a law. Thank you. Any comment?
Okay, comments from the citizens.
This will be,
Comments from the
Lee,
citizens.
I gave you a copy of this, right, of the webpage. And
You have
this,
to go
this
to-
actually,
You have to.
oh, okay. John Warner. Good evening, everybody. Well, it's almost morning. In order to find out this meeting, right, the only thing that told me this was, when I looked at the calendar, this meeting wasn't on the calendar. In fact, after today, there's nothing on the
The
calendar.
website?
It says nothing.
It was on there, I don't know how.
It's blank, and everything after today is blank.
Well, you know, some people go in and figure out how to delete a whole lot of stuff off our website. This is not the first time that has done
Alright,
to
well,
us.
I'm saying,
Yeah, but, people will go on our website and delete stuff, and I don't know how in the world they do it,
right.
but they do it. This is not the first time this happened to us.
Another thing is, I understand there was one meeting I went to, somebody was gonna, clean out houses and stuff like that. There was no position ever advertised. No.
For the bathroom?
And so, the bathroom cleaning, whatever.
Somebody does that, right? There's
Somebody does that,
Yeah,
and
they
gets
already-
paid for it.
Yeah, but she's been doing this for a few years now.
That doesn't matter.
Well, we
We
can't,
need to be transparent, as transparent.
well,
as
she
we
was
can.
already hired by the old council, so there's nothing we can do about that.
No, she was volunteering, that was your words.
No.
Let me correct. That was, in the beginning, she was volunteering, but this has been over 3 years ago. This was with, this
I'm
was like in
talking less than-
2020.
I'm talking less than 3 months ago.
No.
Somebody
She,
say hi.
back
and
in
started paying her.
2022,
No, she been
before
paying
they voted me off the
for
council,
2 or 3 years.
she was volunteering cleaning the bathrooms because her grandkids play in that park.
You know,
People use
it's
the park,
still things
but
need
the
to
old
be
council hired her,
transparent.
so.
Everything, any time you folks make a decision, it should be transparent. The video, there's no way for me to access his video.
Well, we
Why?
already
We're
discussed
paying
that.
for it.
So my daughter has volunteered, she's young, to set up a YouTube channel and to download everything on there.
Has it happened? I've been asking for months.
She
The
just,
videos are the same.
No,
I
I'm
just
not saying
volunteered
that.
her to do it. I know, but like, literally just this week I
No,
talked to her
we're
about
paying,
it.
Mick
Yeah.
does it for free,
Right.
and he does it.
The difference
This
is, his can be used in court, his cannot.
So
His is
why
an
can't we?
official recording, they're the same recording, they start
No,
recording.
we're
it.
not. His is a different viewpoint. I'm watching him flip his camera around. His, and he's wired into the mics.
Because we
So-
don't have a recorder.
His has to
We
be
used to have a
recorded.
recorder right there. We don't have that anymore. So he's recording our meetings.
I'm not saying.
But you've said this before.
I've
I've
said
said
this
it
before, and we're not being transparent.
And,
How are
And
we not
that,
being
that
transparent?
needs to happen.
How are we not
I
being
mean-
transparent?
I requested the recording when Leslie did all the, policies and procedures and forms. And Mick wasn't able to be here because he was told it was a phone meeting, when in fact it was a real meeting. So I asked Mr. Gardner, could I get a copy of that recording, and he said I didn't need it.
I think these recordings
What
that he
meeting? What
makes
meeting?
should simply be uploaded onto the,
where I went over
to the webpage.
full Auditor General's response.
So
I
then.
thought you were here.
He
Well,
was.
there was one that Mick wasn't here.
When Mick wasn't here, somebody was here John was recording for Mick when Mick wasn't here.
No, she's talking about another time.
I
Because
don't-
Mick asked me to record that.
Right, but it's been like 2 meetings that I know Mick was not here. Don, I think, recorded for you once, correct? And you recorded the other time. It hasn't even, I don't think he's missed any meetings on,
Wasn't
putting
there one,
online.
Mick, where you were told it was a phone?
The review with the Auditor General.
That was by telephone and
That
it
was
was
a
limited.
telephone.
They would not allow,
That's right.
They wouldn't allow
Closed
it.
meeting.
Another meeting.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow me on that meeting.
Honestly, we weren't allowed to go.
Right, it was another meeting that wasn't recorded.
But I
by-
thought
Any
you were
council
here for
meeting we've
that
had has
long.
been recorded by both.
Cause I think I gave you a copy.
It's not.
Probably.
But it was,
The thing is, so when Mick wasn't recording,
No,
he either had John or Don to record.
never mind.
Well, I would like to say, kudos to the utmost for that report. That took, I know, months of work, hard work, long work. Thank you.
Yeah, he's done a job.
And, you know, I also like to thank Mick because of all his recordings. He does it. And the files are huge, because I know he's got a bigger phone than I got. So, and it takes time to get that stuff up, even with the fiber net now. But, you know, but we still have issues. We still have water issues. I mean, I received from a neighbor that they were doing the fire hydrants and stuff today. If you go and turn on your washing machine and you get that cloudy water into your washing machine, you know what it does to the filter, to the inlet filter? And if you got a dishwasher, they got an inlet filter, that's $179 you gotta replace. Because you went and did wash on the day that they would do it. Or you could have lost clothes, because now you got rust colored clothes that were white or yellow. So those type of announcements need to get out.
There's a notice on the back of your water bill.
It's in the water bill.
Before you even before they even do it,
Do
it's
it,
like
yeah.
weeks ahead, you already know.
I got one like a couple months ago, and it actually happened like 2 days afterwards. Because I noticed the water color, and I called up my neighbors and said, hey, what color is your water? And it was like 2 days later, so.
This was also on the website, Chris.
Yeah,
And
there's.
it's posted in the town hall, on the front.
But in this particular case, this month, they had all kinds of, the weather changed, had all kind of water leaks and meter replacements and so forth. It threw them behind on when they were gonna do the
Flushing out.
flushing hydrants.
Yeah, but who's gonna pay for the lost clothes or the washing machine repairs? No, honestly.
But welcome to White Springs.
You got it, they
This
got
is
it
not the
now.
first time that happened.
Every city in the, I've ever been, that's the same problem, when you flush hydrants. We had PVC or we had metal, it's all about the same thing.
I'm not saying if it's the metal or the PVC at this point.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying,
You're right, and we'll try to do better.
I would appreciate that.
Do you
It's
have
so much fun.
suggestions of where would be better places to notice this
Text
information?
messages, automated text messages. Get them all the time.
Yeah.
You go to Lowe's and you order window blinds, automated text messages,
Yeah.
gives you an update.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's not that expensive.
Yeah.
That, and the other thing is also put it on the webpage.
Okay.
But that's not automatic, but the text message.
But
Everybody's got a
even
cell
so,
phone.
he just looked it up, and it gives you more than one date. He has the 13th to the 15th for the flushing, so you know, between these dates is when the hydrants are gonna be flushed. So it's not like you don't get a notice, you're just ignoring or not looking at that notice. But, I mean, it's there, it's in the front of town hall, it's on the window, at the desk when you pay your water bill, it's online, and it's in your bill.
It is
online.
It is online now.
See, y'all have to look and pay attention.
It's not on that one, but I hadn't had a chance to go look and see what happened.
It was at the top.
Cause we had the water machine one and everything else on there, and it's gone. So
I read the whole thing to my wife when I saw it 2 weeks
I
ago.
would say we had like.
Yeah, you're too
We had several meetings that had been listed online. Every meeting that we've had up until today has been listed online.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes.
Okay,
No, yeah, I think he was first.
Okay, come on.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, and a happy new year.
Thank you.
May I approach and pass out a memo?
Yes.
I've already emailed this, I've already emailed this to Mr. Gardner.
they've got.
We already got it.
They've got it all too.
Did she get
You got it?
I got it, they got
Give
it
it to
too.
Les.
Oh, okay.
It's in your plan. It's in your plan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
For those that don't know me, my name is Bo Bushman. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the Our Community Cares Coalition, long title, short paycheck. Anyhow, I'm here tonight to, I don't want to discuss about the amendment law. I want you to read that at your leisure. So there's two things I want to point out. Number one, it tells you about how we want to select individuals to participate in our anti-drug and alcohol program. And also, tonight, I want to announce that we're not only going to do drug and alcohol prevention, but at the behest of the town manager in the incidents that's happened, we're also going to be concentrating on prevention of gun violence. Okay, we're adding that to our program, so it's very important. My main goal tonight is to update you on the progress at the Wayside Park. I imagine a lot of you have been down there by the boat ramp. You'll notice that we've got pictures of the mayor and the town manager there, and nobody's thrown eggs at that particular picture yet. But anyhow, we're about 75% complete. It's a 250-foot, give or take 10 feet long wall. It ranges between 11 and 16 feet high. It's been a monumental task. And the people that's been working on it have been really putting in the time. In fact, I think last night, we got back about 1 o'clock in the morning. If that's right. And so anyhow, go down and look at the park. I want to tell you that also in that memo, February the 1st is the day that we're going to have the grand opening or reveal, okay? And also February 1st is another important day because that is the beginning of Black History Month.
Yes, it is.
And, Mr. Garner, we sent you over a proclamation of Black History. You got that, okay? We'd like for the town to proclaim that, prior to February 1st if possible. And just,
February 1st, that's the first Sunday.
ma'am,
That's on the first Sunday.
okay?
That's when you're gonna do your grand opening?
That's it, we got it planned for 4 o'clock,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
So we want, and we're going to, of course, we'll have officials from the counties, cities, and towns. And we'll have some games and whatnot for the kids there. I think we've got some bumper cars that we've got, that they might be able to do some bumper cars. We remember how that used to go. But yeah, I just want to let you know, we've enjoyed doing the work. My wife has done 80% of it, I believe. Done all the design, most of the physical work. And I've been the gopher. I go get the paint, I go get the coffee, I go get the coke. And the potatoes. But anyhow, I want to invite you out to the park on that particular day. And there are a couple of things I'd like to ask the town about. We appreciate the town allowing us to adopt the park. We have formally adopted the park. That means we're going to take care of trying to make it, keep it looking good, keeping the wall good. The tables, if you haven't been out there, look at the tables. We've had our artists draw different Disney creatures, I'll call them. And we painted all the benches, all the tables, all the bollards. We're gonna paint the bollards down by the actual water eventually. And it's just gonna be a great looking park. So one thing that we would like to have is we would like to be able to have the park closed from dusk to dawn. Can't really think of a reason why anybody would really want to come out there at night time.
Well, the only problem there is that is a designated waterway that's one of the real risks and people going fishing down the route there. And that's something we brought out with fishing game and DOT involved in.
Okay, we could run that by them.
I would say yes, because just to be on the safe side,
Yeah.
because that is not in the coastal world, but it's a
Right.
waterway of state of park.
And there's also a sign there as you come in that says no security provided. But right now, we do have the sheriff, we do have cameras out there, and we also have audio
Right.
devices out there, so they can
Well, that's
monitor
something we need to
every
check.
car that comes in.
Yeah.
And, is that something that maybe the town could do, or?
I'll follow up with fishing game on that, and about the waterway, because I don't know if we got the, that is a designated, ramp when you was up the water. So
Right.
So that's something we bring up.
Okay, all right, well, that's it, I invite y'all to come out, look at the wall, February first, come out before, say hi, we'll be out there.
One question on the.
Yes, sir.
People you wanted, are they the high school people you're looking for, the children to make up your leadership thing?
Up to high school, we're talking about 12 years old and up.
Oh, 12, okay.
Or even younger, depends on the
Right.
children.
Children.
We've asked each city, town, and county to nominate 2 ambassadors, we call them, to participate in our program, and that memo outlines some of the things that the kids will be doing. And they'll really enjoy it, and it's very beneficial for the kids. And it keeps them in the mindset of not worrying or thinking about drugs or alcohol.
And we'll publish the proclamation.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, anybody else?
Yes.
I know y'all know me. Hi, Gretchen Fouchecourt, 11888 3rd Street. When you were talking about the website, you were saying that people are going on and deleting things. One, what are y'all doing about that? Because it's actually concerning. Like you accept payments on our website. So you are required to maintain security on our website. Have you updated passwords from the last one?
No, we're talking about the web page.
Not the system,
No.
page system.
Talking about the town webpage.
You're right.
That's what people are deleting, that's the website that I'm talking about. If people are deleting things off of our town website, the webpage, that's concerning.
Well, we don't know who's doing it though, that's the.
But have you changed passwords? Have you done anything about that? Something has to be done about that. I mean, this is the official town website. And somebody's going in and deleting things off of it. That is concerning, and you don't see that that's concerning. And then my second question is, I know that he just mentioned the park, and you have cameras up and sound devices. Who owns the park?
City owns the
So the
park.
city owns the park, so you guys have the permits and everything else, there's a privacy concern as well. It's a public park, there's a privacy concern, and people are just putting up cameras.
Sheriff's
The
Department.
sheriff department cameras
That's all
up
I wanted to know, because I just wanna make sure, because
Sure.
there's major privacy concerns. That's it.
Sheriff's Department. Security.
Thank you. So don't go out there and kiss, okay?
Anybody else? Okay, we get down to the last part. Department report, town manager.
Well, you got it, just real fast here, again, thanks again for confidence you got in, I hope you continue to go like we're better than we are, we'll try to improve things. And this is just for my information to make a good response. The old Hamilton, the old jail and the old town hall had an inquiry if the city would consider purchase or leasing it for some type of small retail concern. And if it's even a thought, I don't think we can sell it, but if it's even thought of leasing it, yay, nay, so I can start negotiation if that's what you want.
We can't sell it, but, we can lease it.
For small retail.
I think,
I like that idea.
I'm saying, they voted before not to sell it, but they
Yeah,
would allow people to lease
if you
it.
understand, it was leased
But
before.
I know
Yeah.
Johnny Hardware had asked about leasing it also.
Well,
the amount was on there, if I'm not mistaken, was $500.
I don't know.
I think it
I
needs
just
to be
wanted, before we do
advertised.
anything, want to get a
I would
consensus.
want.
How old is that old, that $500 rent? Like, what is the current going rate for rent?
I
That
have
would be
no
something
idea.
that would need to be looked at.
I think it's a real small building.
Yeah, a small
And it
building.
needs to be advertised, not just because somebody decided they wanna rent, okay, we're gonna rent it to them. I think it needs to be advertised to give other people that have had similar ideas a chance to compete.
Well, that's what we always did in the past, put it out for anybody who wants to rent.
So that's what
We
you
had about
consider
3 or
now?
4 people to, come up and want
Has
to rent.
anybody else besides, cause I know it's been over a year or so since Dawn them asked about it. I don't think they've asked about it
Nobody since I've been
anymore.
here, this is the first one we've had, except for, Fat Bellas that asked about, the old town hall, using it for something, but, it was just see if it was available. We can advertise, I mean, we'll advertise
We'll
it.
advertise.
If
I
that's
like that.
what we do, but I need to find out what some decent prices would be on that, so, yes, Chris, right.
If we're gonna rent it, I would want the person who rents it to submit a detailed business case on what they're going to do with
I
it.
love that.
What business is it gonna be? How are they gonna source the items? What is their sell-through? How much cash are they carrying? How long can they operate at a loss? Cause $500 is charity. We're basically subsidizing their business at this point. So we don't want a scenario where someone comes in with a big idea that's half-baked. We give them the property, they tear it apart, and then they go, oh, I can't make money here, and then they leave. Like, this is a historical city for our town, right?
Right.
It's not significant.
That's what happens with the other people.
But when, let me tell you.
That's what happens.
Okay.
in the past.
Even like when you're leasing something, you have certain things that you're not gonna be able to do. Like I know our church leases a building from the county. It's a lease with the option to purchase. Anything that we do to that building and to that structure, you have to get prior approval from the county before you can do anything.
I'm making notes.
I don't know if we have to go so far into somebody's personal business, you know, yeah, what you're gonna use it for to make sure it's something that's legal, that
It would improve the town.
that is for the community, you know. Well, it could be a private, but whatever it is, just looking to see how much money they got, this and that, but that's a little too personal. If they're gonna stay open, they're gonna stay open. If not, once they lease it
We're
and
gonna
somebody
do a
sees.
market rate, and we don't need
But
to do all
if
this. but
somebody,
they're gonna
that's just
make
like
it
with rent, period. If
$1,500.
somebody sees
We
that
gonna get
it's
that done.
available, if they can't afford to keep it and they close it down, then you go ahead and lease it to the next person
Right.
who fills out an application and wants to lease it.
What about insurance and who pays?
You have to carry insurance when you lease
All of
a
that gonna be
building.
covered.
And they would be responsible.
They
for
would
the
be there,
electric.
and the city would be named
water
as
out
the.
Agent.
Who is gonna bring these buildings up to get a certificate of
I
occupancy?
hadn't been in, I don't know what it needs anything up
The
to.
power's been off these for over 6 months, and so you have to
To get
follow.
inspected.
There's a whole level of work that has to be done for all
Before
of
we do
them.
anything like that, we're gonna check everything out before we go any further.
Okay, but I love the idea. It's a whole lot
I'm
better
telling
than
you what happened or not,
empty
but
Yeah.
we can try.
And I'd rather lease it than.
So let it go downhill. Yeah.
Okay, the,
we still have to
comprehensive
lease out
plan
that
update.
anyway.
the next meeting of the comprehensive plan, committee will be February 11th here at 6 o'clock.
February 11th.
Is, on March 3rd, we received the draft land use plan from our planner. And on March the 24th, there'll be a special council meeting to adopt the revised comp plan, which is due April the 6th or somewhere along there in the state. So just asking what, we're winding down on the comprehensive plan. Asked about a 5-year plan, it'll be in the comp plan, and I put a copy of what we're proposing in your packet here, and I've got a 5-year capital plan that people talk about, we don't have one, we've had one for years, but, like a lot of other things, it got buried in files and all, we finally pulled it and revised it. We're gonna talk about vehicles, selling vehicles, I mean, by the Telford Hotel, and I know you probably bring it up in your remarks if you're not too long, but one thing that I'm gonna say now in front of everybody, I think before we go any further with the Telford Hotel deal, we need to find some way to do a business plan of what's gonna happen. The beginning, the middle, and the end of what's gonna happen on a business plan. And, I sent, Nick's wife, an email today that has a possibility of a little seed money for an architect or an engineer or somebody to start that process.
I've already contacted an architectural engineer who specializes in historical buildings.
Talk about it.
Yes, Cheryl.
I think before we even do that, we need to find out if the owner is willing to negotiate on the price if
We've
the
already handled
appraisal
that.
comes back low.
I've already handled all of
We're
that.
working on it, but like I say, we need a business plan.
Working on that.
Okay, fine. All right,
It's still so many
voting-
papers that I still need to give you all
Okay.
concerning that, but I'll discuss that.
And like I say, I'm hoping by the end of February, we'll have all the policies and the checklist and everything that we've been talking about since July for all these policies that we're changing at Brookfield and some others that. And again, I thank you and I want to convey my thanks to Sheriff Creech and his team for all they've done in trying to do improve safety and help us here. And that's my report. We got, unless y'all got something else, we're fine.
Tom Turner?
No.
Pass those up to them, pass them
Okay,
down.
okay.
All right, so working on the general election notice for the 2026 election. And so far what I've put in is just modeled from what we did last year. But a couple things, we know the election is April 28th. We know qualifying deadline is noon on March 17th. But the qualifying period is not defined by the charter or statute, so that is up to council to decide. Also, last year, we did not have the office open on Fridays, and so we excluded Fridays. And so I put in there what we had last time, which was 5 business days, based on the way that we did it last year. For qualifying, because statewide qualifying gives 5 business days.
I've plenty of time.
You mean 5 days to turn in the packet?
5 business days, 5
You can
days.
get them before then.
You can get the packets before then.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was the issue that I saw, because
Yeah.
before they didn't wanna give you the packet until the 10th, and then you have
Oh, no.
to turn it in by the 17th, and then they were closed on Friday, and it was barely in during the middle of the week anyway, so it was like almost that's how they really kept a lot of elections from going on, from being handled.
So to point out, there are 3 seats that are gonna be available. I'm proposing that packets can be picked up, but I want to also have it available online for accessibility. It needs to be online. People don't, and you can pick it up in person. Anybody can pick it up for anybody else. It doesn't matter. You don't have to pick it up yourself. I don't wanna make it difficult for anybody. So anybody can pick up a packet and it'll be available online. But the qualifying period, if that works, are we still closed on Fridays? Or are we not?
We're open on Friday.
I think we can, we're gonna talk about that
Yeah,
later.
we're gonna talk about that later.
But for the voting, we can be open that Friday.
Okay, well, this is for qualifying, for qualifying
yeah,
period?
yeah, for qualifying, yeah, we.
The reason it said excluded then, because they had started closing on Friday.
And then we're gonna talk about that some more too.
Yeah.
So we'll need to know by the time we post this. I also want to point out, that no one locally can make any exceptions to the qualifying deadline. You walk in the building at 11:59 and you realize you left something in your car and you want to say, hey, I gotta go out to my car and get it. No one inside the building can say, okay. No one. The only people who can move the deadline for qualifying is basically the governor or court. So I want to make that real clear. Nobody can say, oh yeah, that's fine, go ahead out to your car, and then you come in at 12:01, it's too late. It's too late. 12:01 is too late.
And if they pay with a non-sufficient check.
Right.
Disqualified.
Yes. If people are looking for a banking institution that provides temporary checks, ViStar does provide temporary checks.
First Federal.
Federal out in Jasper.
They do now? Aren't they the ones that didn't do it last time?
No, they're the ones that worked with us.
First Federal in Lake City and Jasper does them.
Okay, so First Federal and ViStar, if people are asking, because you do have to provide a check that of course is on, a check from the account, campaign account. Now, early voting, we are not required to do early voting. But if we do early voting, it must be for 8 hours a day. So what we had here with this 9 to 4 last year, that was only 7 hours, which was not enough hours. It needs to be 8 hours a day. So that is something to consider, how many days you want.
vote here?
It depends. Voting in White Springs fluctuates. It depends on who's running, it just depends. If they're satisfied with the,
Hours would be.
How
yeah.
many people did we have voting last year? About
Little
200?
over 100.
Maybe for early voting?
Total,
Like
like,
early voting, you had over about 100, didn't it?
No,
How many?
maybe about 41 for early voting.
No, 'cause
No,
the
did
total
not.
number wasn't
I
that
thought you
over.
had more than 41 early voting.
Who? On early voting?
I had 72% of the vote.
Is it on the thing?
Yeah, I thought he had more than like 41 early votes between him and,
You talking about early voting, I think. We had very few for early voting.
So there's a lot of days here, that we had for last year.
Yeah.
I got a total of 83 votes. Randolph Williams got 51
No,
votes.
that was the,
Ricky
that
got
was the
6. That
overall.
was total, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got
Early voting, we did not have that
13,
many.
10, 2, and 5. So,
okay, that was the number.
yeah. I don't remember who we got.
13, 10, 2, and 5?
It was over 100 people voted. It wasn't that many.
That's total.
That's total.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first box was early voting.
Cause you had a lot of people that only voted for one person.
I should know I was
You had a lot of
doing
them voted for maybe 2.
I should know I was doing it. When that many was voting.
So,
I didn't even do electronic ballots anyway.
we always have paper no matter what. Florida requires paper ballots. Even if you do it electronically, a paper ballot is always generated.
So is there anything else you wanna change on this besides Friday?
Would be the early voting period, and we would need to make it 8 hours. So we would have to put in time, equaling 8 hours.
8:30 to 4:30?
Let's do 8:30 to 4:30.
8:30, 4:30.
Okay?
Town hall opens at 8, right?
So 8:30 to 4:30, and the days is, I mean, that's a lot of days for,
Oh, you don't need, Tuesday, Thursday, oh God, you don't need more than 3 or 4 days for early voting.
so,
Yeah, but everybody.
So why not just do it Monday to Thursday in 1 week? Is that fine, or?
yes, we could do it, like if Friday is open, then 1 week of early voting is probably sufficient. I think you wanna at least make sure there's a Friday there in case that's how somebody's work schedule works, where they're only off on Friday. So,
I'd say, yes, Tuesday, April 14th to, Thursday, April 15, 16, 17.
probably closer to the last week, the week right before.
Yeah, okay.
So 7 days before the 23rd.
So if we could do that week before, which is the 20th through the 24th, which would include that Friday.
So what about with absentee ballot?
Absentee ballots aren't done, I don't think you guys do absentee ballots at the municipal.
No, you don't.
Don't they do, the mail-in ballot?
If you come in
They
for over
did.
6 or something, I'll be come here or
Some, but they went to
election.
actually Laura Hoto's office.
Okay, I've been saying, cause I know my brother,
They
he
did not-
registered
they
here,
did not
there
come
in the
to us.
Navy.
So
but
they would
send
have to
them in.
did they have to request them or already have the request early in? So once we have this done, we'll schedule a meeting with the supervisor really.
Cause in some elections, you have people that would like to vote and they're in the military, cause my mom voted through, this past year but she did hers through, hers did go
They
to
were
her.
actually sent to Laura's office.
Yeah, but she voted by mail because she was in, North Carolina. And
And
then
I
my brother
think
was
she's the
in
one,
Virginia.
her office decides when
And
those
I
are
think
sent out.
last year she also said that if they were sealed,
Mhm.
and we could put them into the ballot box that was locked. If
Yes.
they were sealed, not by us,
Yeah.
by person.
We meet with elected supervisor and find out all the
Right.
ins and outs, boards.
Because we're gonna have to meet with her because it could
Yeah.
be changes this year.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have to meet with her to find out all the procedures.
Right.
And when do you have to know who's gonna be on the ballot?
By qualifying. The qualifying deadline, March 17 at noon.
And the ballots are created by Laura's office.
So, all right, so with this, we can then get scheduled with her office to finalize everything and.
We have to really go
So when
over
will
that.
packets be available?
For anybody who might be thinking about running, it appears that you'll be able to pick up your package or have somebody pick up your packet on February 17th, which will be a month prior to qualifying. So that's, they were putting out there, the package should be available. you know.
February 17th.
All right, Robert, don't forget the date.
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
That's it?
And, Ray's not here because he had a procedure done today that he's not feeling too good tonight.
You don't need no money, do
No, that's the reason I told him I'd come to, he's not here.
we? Cause every time Ray come, he gotta have money.
We need, but.
Glad not to see
we'll
him.
Do we have a report from?
No, that's nothing.
You don't need no money.
He's had a lot of water leaks and problems, this cold weather coming up. Everybody make sure your pipes are, covered everything this coming weekend. Cold weather coming in.
Okay, Councilwoman McCall.
I got nothing. Y'all answered everything.
Okay.
Councilman Robert Gamsby.
So I had a nice big presentation lined up, and now I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible so we can leave. I'm doing a letter writing campaign. It's basically gonna have two, here you go. It's gonna have two stages, basically in one mini stage. It's in support of Senate Bill 250, which is the Rural Renaissance Bill. There's two different ones here. So for the first one, I'm going to, we have them printed already, sitting in a box at home, stamps on it. I'm going to be sending a letter to every member in the House, so there's about 110 of them. This bill was passed by the Senate Appropriations Committee already. It's actually going before the Assembly tomorrow, so hopefully we'll know tomorrow if it passes. To give you a little bit of the history, they had tried a version of this bill last year that it passed unanimously in the Senate, only to be loaded up with poison pills and garbage and all kinds of not useful stuff in the House, and the House passed this untenable version of it, and the Senate just let it die. So to let you know what it is, there's 31 counties in the state that are designated as rural counties, including 27 of them that are physically constrained rural counties under 75,000 people, of which Hamilton is one. This bill is designed exclusively to aid those counties. So it's going to do this by creating the Office of Rural Prosperity, which is a office in the Department of Commerce devoted to helping local governments access state and federal resources, navigate programs, and connect with agency partners. Creates the Renaissance Grant, which is to help counties rebuild capacity by closing technology gaps, improving digital access, and supporting multi-generational family needs. They're going to have some housing investments to help the USDA retain some affordable rental units that are currently at risk of converting to market price. They're going to make investments in the Small County Road Assistance Program and establish the Florida arterial road modernization program to provide funding to rural arterial roads. It's going to provide additional funding to the rural education consortiums, including the one that services our area, which it's also going to create some financial incentives for people through student loan forgiveness to move to rural counties and establish themselves in those schools. And it provides funding for grants meant to give meaningful access to rural communities for new practice facilities, hospital, capital needs, and training programs. And that's kind of one of the big things that I would like to see in White Springs, is the establishment one day of a doctor's office. Because right now you gotta go like 20 minutes to somewhere to get a doctor. And so they provide funding that they have to fight everyone and their grandmother to get for establishing doctor's office here.
They don't like an urgent care.
I mean, we need a doctor's office more than an urgent care, but like Jasper, for instance, doesn't have an urgent care, so that would be something they could go out and we have funding to help establish an urgent care there.
And then we can have their GP or whatever. Got an extra copy?
Here, yeah, I've got a bunch of copies. So the first round, like I said, is sending it off to the House, and I guess I'll just read it. My name is Robert Gamsby, and I'm on the Town Council of White Springs. We're a small slice of Old Florida situated on the banks of the Suwannee River in Hamilton County. I'm writing you today to express my support for Senate Bill 250, the Rural Renaissance Bill. With only 740 citizens, we face steep challenges getting access to the same everyday necessities that most of the state takes for granted. The closest doctor's office is over 20 minutes away. Our local school system is one of the 8 lowest ranked systems in the state. We have neighbors right outside our city limits with no access to high-speed internet. Grants are hard to come by for places so small, and so is the expertise to find available resources. We aren't alone in this struggle. Florida has 31 ready designated rural counties, including 27 that qualify as physically constrained rural counties, representing 1,154,445 people. All 8 of the C-graded school systems reside in these counties. 9 of the 150 lowest income counties in the United States call Florida home. Senate Bill 250 provides towns like White Springs and counties like Hamilton with tools and funding needed to start fixing these issues. This bill gives much needed attention to areas like technology access, medical care access, infrastructure, grant assistance, and much more. Please consider passing the Senate Bill 250 as written in the Senate without the modifications and additions that made the bill's predecessor, Senate Bill 110, untenable. So I will be sending these letters out this week. And as you all know, we're going to the Florida League of Cities, and I'm going to print a whole bunch of flyers. And when we meet with the House of Representatives, right, that's going to happen, I will beat them over the head with my pile of flyers. I will advocate for this. And I guess the biggest part, and something that I might need the community's help with, is phase 2 of the letter writing campaign. I'm going to be sending, let's find this. So I went through a list of the counties, and I pulled out all the towns that are in the counties, and then I went to all the websites for the towns, the school boards, the county commissioners of the towns in these counties, and I pulled out a list of 361 council members, 33 town managers, 150 school board members, and 28 superintendents, and 148 county commissioners. So I'm going to be sending letters to all of them requesting that they send me their name, name, title, and town if they want to be included in a letter that I'm sending to the representatives. And once I collect all of those, I'm going to print them off, and I'm going to send every member of House a letter with all the names of the people that support the bill.
Just for information, the county commissioners are going to be in Tallahassee next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So I should go plug them?
Yes, sir. Maybe we should get it in to the Florida Association of Counties at least, so they can Give our delegation, but I think all of our county commissioners are going.
So this is gonna be a big project, but
Yeah.
I will appreciate help of any citizens who wanna stuff some envelopes with me.
Bring them here, let everybody, let the whole council get some stuff in.
Pick a
That's
day.
a suggestion.
Yeah, pick a day.
That's what I'm saying, pick a day and the entire council get up there and help stuff these envelopes, because this is for us and our community and our citizens, and everybody should take part in this, not just you. Whatever it is that needs to be done, we need to help you
Anybody who
do it.
wants a copy, I'd like Chris.
That's just my suggestion. So you pick a date, tell me the day and time, and I'm here.
Just text it to us. We'll get it.
Okay, I'm just saying, he picked a date because
Pick a date.
they might want to come.
Well, we'll put it on the website.
Jesus. I don't wanna go and like police this.
Vice Mayor?
I don't want to say anything right now, we've been here for 4 hours. We back to this long meeting. We did have, okay, first let me start here. For the ones who did come out, Robert, I do appreciate your time, Mr. Gardner, I know you was sick, for coming to the prayer vigil. The family was great, they were grateful, they were appreciative that we showed concern and that we showed that we care. And I just want to thank you, the two of you, for coming and helping. Cynthia, Danshay, they were all there also. But I thank you for the support, it meant a lot, not just for me, but to the family also. And with that being said now, back to the Tilford. We did have a meeting, we have about 11 people on the committee. From different walks of life, different views or whatever. We have some inspections that we're looking into getting done now. The appraisal, because the appraisal hadn't been done on the building since 2002. I wanna say Mr. Nick said. We just have a lot of things, and then I have some things I need to discuss with Leslie that the committee wanted to know, to know about how we can go about doing certain things and in what way the committee operates as opposed to, what the town responsibilities would be and things of that nature.
Send me the 755.
I didn't email you?
No,
You sure?
I'm not sure.
Oh, honey.
I gave them what I had.
That was 23.
I had, oh gosh, I thought I emailed y'all that same night. Listen, I've had a lot, trying to the heart, not the mind. But, we do have steps that we need to take. I did talk to Mr. Nick, he's not stuck on that price. He is going to agree to go somewhere along the lines of what it is appraised for. He's already put over $250,000 worth of work into the building over the past several months. He's willing to work out some dates because we all can't go at the same time because we're on the council, but, where the different council members can probably go, look at the building and see it for themselves, because we've heard so many rumors about the building, and come to find out, 90% of the rumors that we heard were just not true and so far-fetched, so, it was crazy. But right now, I'm waiting on the engineer to tell me when she will be able to come and go through the building to do her assessment. She lives for this kind of stuff. This is her specialty. And she will be able to give me more insight from there, to what needs to be done, what we need to be looking at, what we need to, everything that needs to fall in place. The secretary of the committee and myself are working on the business plan, she's just already. But, want to come out and listen, participate, or whatever, we're having our next meeting February the 2nd at 6 o'clock. And there'll be more information available then. But, everybody, the entire committee is ready to work. We just trying to find out what our scopes are right at this moment. But they're very excited. Everybody, we want this to go, but of course it has to be feasible and make sense. So, we're getting ready to run a fundraising campaign, if you would say. And our goal is $2.5 million. Because everything we're doing is to the bare minimum of the town. There are some things that a town is going to have to help us pay for, as far as inspections and stuff, but we're setting up fundraisers and things now to offset that cost for the town. And some of the inspections, it's not gonna cost us anything because of the connections that some of us on the committee know. And that's all I have to say for the moment.
Are you doing anything, letter-wise or anything?
I have letters and things, but,
But we're not-
I gotta
we're
get the
not putting them out before we
clarification.
vote, right?
We really didn't have to put them out.
I have not put them out yet, no.
Okay. Cause we had to vote on it, right?
Some of the stuff, this is what Leslie and I have to go through and talk. I have to give her the questions, and the concerns from the committee, so we'll know what will come from the committee, what will come from the town. Anything that has the town letterhead on it has to be approved by the council. But every little thing that we do does not have to have the council approval. But it's certain things that we do have to be approved by the town.
So anything that has to do with calling it the town project or White
Well,
Springs.
that's not what we named it, so right now it's called Friends of the Telford. The committee is Friends of the Telford. We're trying to work out how we can get this done where it benefits the committee and the town. How,
But can the Friends of the Telford actually buy it instead of the town buying it?
no, that's not the goal, because I wanna keep it a public place that the city owns,
Okay,
and it will be forevermore part of the town.
okay.
And not just for anybody that can come do anything, because we've lost so much history with private entities and private people buying our history and then doing whatever it is that they want to do, and these buildings are no longer accessible to the public. The Telford is too important for that.
Okay.
So, no, the whole goal is for this committee to help the town buy it, and it is a partnership with the nonprofit and the town.
What nonprofit?
First of all, you have White Springs Hope and Heritage Coalition, and we're working on forming the nonprofit out of the Friends of the Telford, but we're trying to, come to the meeting February 2nd, you will get a better understanding.
Well, I watched the meeting the other night.
No, I'm just saying, there are things that we have to work out that I have to go through with Leslie first.
Okay.
And once she and I get the understanding and she directs me in which way to go, then I will be able to share it with you, but I'm not gonna just sit there and say something that I don't know right now.
Gotcha. You doing that?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, next Monday, we are having a Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. It starts at 10:45. We'll be walking from the old Carver School all the way up to the Welcome Center. If anybody wanna come out and walk with us and join with us, you're more than welcome. And we're gonna have people speaking and our children also speaking. But this is our first time doing this march. We never had a march before, so I think it's gonna turn out to be a great celebration, which is January the 19th. We're gonna start marching from the old Carver School. If you are able to walk that far from the old Carver School to the community center, you're more than welcome. So if you have a golf cart, drive slow. I mean, not the visitor center. the
Visitor center?
Welcome center.
Tourism.
Yeah, the tourism center. And if you have a golf cart, ride beside me, cause I might need you to pick me up.
Don't forget, Beautiful Dreams is that thing.
Oh, yeah, Beautiful Dreamers Award is also gonna be included in that. We start walking at 10:45.
Are you gonna publish the route on the website? Or are y'all closing roads down?
No, we're not closing down no streets, we're gonna start marching from the old Carver School all the way up to
Straight
Mill
down
Street.
Mill Street to Hamilton.
Yeah, to Hamilton, to Bridge Street, across the street. That's where we're gonna be at. And, January 23rd, at St. Luke Free Will Baptist Church, we are holding a Unity Community Church Coalition. Pastor King wants to get all the churches together to form a committee about bringing back our community. And it's involved in all the churches, not just a few, but everybody. So this meeting will be held January 23rd, that Friday, at 6 p.m. And I hope to see a lot of our community leaders to come out and be a part of this. We will put this on the website. Yeah, we will put this on the website. Thanks to our town manager, Lee asked me, what did I think if we get all the churches together to start getting back into our community. And I thought that was a great idea. I know long in the past, our church was gonna try to do something like that, but we couldn't get it together. So now I have a new pastor now. He's young, he's very energetic, and this is one of the things he was talking to me about. Told me about it, and both of them got together. Now it looks like it's gonna happen. So January the 23rd at 6 p.m. at St. Luke Free Will Baptist Church in White Springs. And that's all I have.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
A second?
Okay, meeting adjourned, 10:20.